You guys hear me? Hello, so exciting. This took a while this time. I was busy setting up other things and we took a while, but we are here now. Let me just pop out the chat so that I can see you. Live chat so that I can hear you. Now let's go. Okay, we seem to be live. Very, very good. Very, very nice. So I actually had a mistake in the title of this live stream because I said I said winter 2026 and autumn 2025. But that is not the case, okay? We are not going that far back. That was a mistake on my part. So we are going to be looking at the spring 2026, obviously the current season of anime, as well as winter 2026, which I ended up never reviewing. And also, if we have time, we will be going through the Crunchyroll awards, because I know that will be just delicious. So, La Grand Uncle, what's up, Omni Weapon? What's up, Bubba? Damn, you guys are here. I'm assuming you guys sleep as little as I do, if you're here. What's up, Kazi bro? What's up? So yeah, I will be honest. As usual, this is very scuffed. I had quite a bit of trouble setting up this stream today because I just, had to do everything in a rush, but I think we are ready and willing to go. So let's start just quickly addressing winter 2026 because I never ended up actually covering it. Please don't look at my desktop. It's a complete mess. Winter 2026. Let's start right there. Open. Let's put this a bit more portrait images, very good. And you guys know once again that I like doing these lists in a bit of a different way. We're going to do an actual ranking with limited slots because every single anime that I watch, I enjoy to some extent. So it doesn't make sense to do peak and good and great because everything is good and above, right? With very few exceptions. So let's start right now with the top one. Let me just change the color here to a bright blue. In this one to a red, and that's perfect. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 animes. So this is top 10. This would be top 3. This would be top 7, if I'm not mistaken. This would be top 9, and this would be top 10. Okay, very good. I can still math. Very good. So now let's take a look at this previous season so we can wrap it up. My OCD can be satisfied and you guys can get my wonderful recommendations in case you missed anything from the previous season. I will be honest, it's been a few months, okay? Which is to say, I'm not going to provide any detailed analysis because it's been a few months. This is going to be very vibe-based, okay? So lots of vibes going on here. And I think it is easiest for me to start with the bottom because looking at this list, I know who the candidates are for my top 1, but I don't know who it is yet. So let's start by the bottom because it's much easier. The anime I liked the least by far that I watched in winter 2026 is Fumetsu no Anata-e To Your Eternity Season 3. This was booty cheeks, just to put it plainly. I wish I could be more complimentary towards this anime, but I really can't. In fact, I enjoyed this so little that I just dropped it. So that goes to show that for me to drop a show that I was already familiar with the previous season, it goes to show that it just wasn't very good. So, what was your wallpaper before? So my wallpaper is actually, can I show that? My wallpaper is actually Skyrim. It's this one. But if you mean the wallpaper of the stream, I'm using Echidna's Tea Party because, I don't know, I literally just got done 5 minutes before starting the stream and I had to cook up something, and that was the image I had on hand. Hello chat, ladies, gentlemen, and everything in between. Thank you so much. Artastic, thank you so much for coming. So, Fumetsu no Anata-e, this starts off as a very beautiful story. I still maintain this has one of the best pilot episodes ever. Episode 1 of season 1 is beautiful. A true tragic episode with loneliness and human nature and just a boy discovering himself and his own feelings and just this thing, this orb that turns human and slowly starts becoming more and more human, getting aware of his own emotions, his own thoughts, and just this journey of discovery that is very real, very raw, very emotional at many points, and I think season 1 is a banger. Season 2, not quite as good, but it managed to provide some finality to some of the plot threads that were opened in season 1. And then comes season 3. And as usual, Japan loves high school, loves to put your characters in high school settings. And once we went into high school, it's not so much the high school setting, it's that I just didn't like the characters, I didn't like the cast. There was this one Diddy Blood character that was just unbearable every time he was on screen, and once again, maybe it's just the Rudius situation all over again where I'm supposed to empathize with him for some reason, but I just can't. And I don't know, I just thought this really couldn't capitalize well on the success of its predecessors, and that is why it's going on top 10. It's the anime I like the least, and I dropped it halfway through, so I didn't even finish this one. All the other anime in this list I have finished. So let's go onwards to the least sucky one on the list, which is My Hero Academia Vigilantes Season 2. I can't really say anything too bad about this anime other than the fact it was just kind of there. It's just kind of mid. I think myself and many other people, judging by the reactions, just had My Hero Academia fatigue after the final season, which was very good, keep in mind, very good final season, but it's time to move on. And I think what attracted me initially to the first season of Vigilantes, which I rated very highly, was the main trio. You had the sort of disciple, Koichi, you had Pop Step as a sort of girl sidekick slash romantic interest, and you had a knuckle duster, a true G, a true unk like myself, probably a lot more unk than myself. And he was just a rough bastard, but a very good and kind master. And I love that trio dynamic. Once again, I love anime with trios, such as Gintama, for example, so I like that dynamic a lot. But this one, we didn't have Knuckle Duster. He was just off the story for most of the season. It was just the main duo of Koichi and Pop Step, and it just... not much happened, it wasn't that interesting, it was just kind of there, and with the sort of emotional release of having the final season of My Hero Academia, this just felt like, you know, just trying to go after the nut. It just... it just felt like it was trying to do too much, and it just... Its time has passed. It's time for My Hero Academia to go to sleep. It's time to move on to other things, and while I still think there is potential in Vigilantes, I think this season wasn't eventful or super interesting in any way, which also didn't surprise me when people said this was significantly less popular than the previous one. It's just... yeah, and if you take a look at the other things that came out this season, it goes to show that Vigilantes had no place being in here. So yeah, it goes into top 9. Yeah, Omni-Weapon, I think... I don't know if you're talking about... I'm going to assume you're talking about To Your Eternity. Once again, I think Season 1 is very good. Season 2 was okay-ish. It was a good finale. It was still good. It's just that Season 3, I can't, man. I can't. Yeah, there's a lot of isekai, and once again, I think this is the thing that pisses me off, because it's like Shaman King Flowers all over again. I think To Your Eternity, the thing that pissed me off the most is that the premise is actually very interesting. You take these characters from medieval times, these very old characters, and you put them in just a current day setting. That by itself is interesting, which is why it baffled me when we started focusing on the high school characters and the new characters, because we already have a cast from the previous seasons that's pretty good. Why are we focusing on the new ones? Makes no sense to me. It was not ideal. Have you watched Nippon Sangoku? Yes, I have. It's going to be the next tier list. Don't worry, guys. Ain't nothing wrong with edging. Sometimes you can edge a bit too much. You can lose your audience. Okay, so up next, which one did I like the least from this list? Okay, up next, just to be totally transparent here, I think all of these anime are good. I think they're all pretty good. There is none that sort of bored me at times, like Vigilantes, for example, or To Your Eternity. So this may sound shocking to some, but in the top 7, I'm going to put Reincarnated as a... No, wait, hold on. What is this called? Sentenced to be a Hero, not Reincarnated. Sentenced to be a Hero. The best way I can put this, and I think I actually made a mistake. This should be top 6, and this should be top 9. No. Top... Hold on. No. No, I think this is correct. No, top 7, top... Yeah, I think this goes here, yeah. So I did enjoy Sentenced to be a Hero more than I did Vigilantes, obviously. But the thing about Sentenced to be a Hero was it was a very pretty anime. Visually speaking, I liked what was on screen. The soundtrack was okay as well. The action was cool, but it's missing something. And I can't tell you exactly what it is missing. I think it's probably a compelling dynamic between villain and hero. So for those who never watched this, there are these waves, I don't even know what they're called, hordes or whatever, of like magic enemies that are attacking humanity, and humanity has to defend itself. And it has these heroes that are sentenced to this punishment of being immortal and never dying, and fighting the waves until they can no longer hold on to their soul and whatever is left of their body. So here, I quite like the main character. He's a bit edgy, a bit rough around the edges, but he's pretty cool. I enjoy him. But the thing is, I never really got fully invested into the story because it was missing something. We did start introducing some recurring villains towards the end of the season, which I did appreciate. I think there's some good elements here. There's also a big conspiracy theory and some political aspects going on. So I do think this has potential. I never read the light novels, and I'm not going to at this moment in time. I'm just way too busy for that. But I think Sentenced to be a Hero has potential. Now, from the first season, I think it was lacking a little something to spice up the storytelling, maybe a good rivalry. I think it had some interesting twists towards the end, but I felt like I was constantly being edged, and I never got really that one moment that made me say, yes, this is it. This is what I'm here for. I never got that moment. Maybe that moment will come in season 2. Let's see. But for now, I have to say I was not fully impressed with Sentenced to be a Hero. I didn't get to the high school part. Yeah, man, you shouldn't get to. Yeah, life, exactly. So Sentenced to be a Hero is one of those series that spends a lot of time on its action, and the action scenes for the most part are pretty cool. They're pretty flashy as well. The main character uses daggers that explode, so every fight scene is very dynamic, very explosive, very visually appealing, but it's just there was a lot of focus on the action and not as much focus on why I should care about the action. So once again, I enjoyed some of the characters, I enjoyed the political aspect of it, which started pumping up towards the end of the season, but it never really grabbed me, and that is why it stays in top 9. Journal with the Witch, hold on guys, I'll just pin this here. Winter 2026, desktop, just so we're all on the same page. Spring 2026, view large icons, so extra large. This is what I will be reviewing next, okay guys? So just so we are aware. But Journal with the Witch is not Witch Hat Atelier, right? Maybe I'm confusing as well, but whatever. This is what I will be reviewing for the next season. I just didn't feel the need to just mix them all up together, especially because we already know what top 1 is going to be, right? Hold on, top 1 is, oh yeah, it's here. Okay, so let's continue. Now onwards to the middling of the table. I think that the next logical step is Fire Force Season 3 or Season 4, whatever this was, the final season of Fire Force. This was very enjoyable. Once again, this is very much a meathead shonen. I think that it has a lot of ecchi. It seems very dated at times. It's very fairy tale-esque in the way it does fan service. It can be very jarring where you're super engaged in a fight scene or some conversation and all of a sudden, boobs are on screen, which, okay, sure, I guess. So it can be very distracting, especially if you didn't grow up with this type of show and you're watching this for the first time as an adult. It can be very distracting, and I know some people don't like it because of that, but I have to say, the powers for this are all fire-based, they are very creative, I enjoy the fights, and the story for this is exceptionally underrated. I think at some point, people just sort of take meathead battle shonens with a lot of fan service as they're all derivatives of the same thing, but I have to say, the story for Fire Force is actually very, very cool. It gets very meta towards the final arc, which I love. I just think it's very imaginative and creative and balls to the wall in the best way possible. And even though I can't say that, for example, visually speaking, in terms of animation quality, it is as good as Sentenced to be a Hero, I will say that Fire Force always had me more engaged because I was just glued to my screen wanting to know what is the next wacky thing that's going to happen. So once again, I do find it difficult to recommend something that's on its 3rd or 4th season or whatever. I think that's a tough sell for people that are a bit more, strapped on time like myself. But for those who have watched Fire Force before, for those who are fans of Soul Eater, for example, by the same author, we even get a sort of connection with Soul Eater at the end of the series. I think Fire Force is super cool. And if you either like fan service or if you can just look past it, I think Fire Force can be very enjoyable. Hello, Unk. What's up, gaming? What's up, Scott? We know number one. Yeah, Baba, we know number one. Journal with Witch was from Winter. Oh, okay, it's a different series. My bad. I was confusing between that and Witch Hat Atelier. Yeah, Fire Force, there was a lot of hype for Fire Force especially because this is one of the few times that we actually get a proper ending to a shonen series. Not only is Fire Force over, like officially over, you can actually watch it all and not just, go read the manga, go read the light novel, which is always good for anime, right? A lot of anime are just glorified commercials for the source material, which is sad, but it is what it is. It's good to have a standalone series that you can actually sit down and watch fully, but the ending was very good. It is one of the most satisfying endings in shonen series of all time, dare I say, because I think one problem with anime is that the premise starts off very good, but then especially if it's a Shonen Jump anime, the release schedule of the manga just catches up with the author, and by the time we get to the ending, things are kind of rushed or just finish halfway through. They're kind of anticlimactic, but I think the ending for Fire Force was just so good, so satisfying. Truly one of the best endings of all time for Meathead Battle Shonen series. Okay, so up next, what am I going to put next, actually? Oh, this is when it starts getting tough. I'll be honest, I still don't know what I'm going to put in top 1. I'm undecided between 2 or 3 anime. Okay, this is going to sound psychotic, but up next, people are going to criticize me for this, but I'm going to put Frieren. I'm going to put Frieren next, because the thing about Frieren is, once again, it was very beautiful, very calming, very soothing. I think especially a very good anime for adults to watch and just sort of relax and not have all of the high school and screaming characters and whatnot. A lot of people say that everybody in Frieren is very nonchalant, and there is an aspect of truth to that, but also everybody in Frieren sounds more realistic and mature, which if you actually walk around in real life and talk to people will more likely resemble a character from Frieren than a character from Fire Force, if you catch my drift. So I don't mind that aspect of Frieren, but I have to say that one of the main criticisms of this season is very valid, which is not a lot happened. We had still a few mini story arcs that lasted more than one episode, but we had a lot of one episode arcs, and it feels like we are accompanying these characters on a journey, which is cool. I love the journey. Once again, awesome vibes. But for me personally, I tend to have a slight bias against episodic anime. I prefer anime with an overarching story that has a beginning, middle, and end that sort of gets me more invested into it. And I think Frieren has done a not great job at getting me invested in the overarching storyline, right? We get this sort of sense of progression with the times. They always say the dates, like X years from Himmel's passing or whatever, but we don't really know what that means, like how far we are from the goal or how long it's going to take, or we have a lot of numbers, but not a tangible sense of progression. And we do have some recurring characters, but it still has a very episodic feeling, which, once again, it is my personal bias. I can totally understand if you don't agree with me. But to me, I just think this season of Frieren was very good in terms of execution, in terms of, like, direction, animation, soundtrack, all that, much like Sentenced to be a Hero, perhaps even a tier above that. I think it was very good. Exceptional, but in terms of getting me invested, I think it missed on that. And once again, this is going to sound psychotic, okay, but just, it's my opinion. In terms of story, I was more invested in Fire Force than I was in Frieren, which is just kind of ridiculous to say, but it's a fact. Favorite character in Fire Force? Arthur, my man. Arthur, of course, the psycho. Arthur is so funny, and doesn't he have the same... Hold on. Doesn't he have the same voice actor as Subaru? Arthur, Fire Force. Yusuke Kobayashi. Yes, it's the same voice actor as Subaru, which I never realized for some reason, and I just burst out laughing when I realized they were the same dude. But yeah, Arthur is incredible. Arthur is super, super funny. Yeah, yeah, Anthony, I can understand why people say Frieren is a bit overrated. I think it is properly rated, but I wouldn't put it on my top 10 ever, if that makes sense. I think it's hard to deny how well executed it is, how flawless it is in everything from its presentation to the sound to whatever, but I think it can be a little bit. Once again, I think it's lacking that one big storyline that gets me truly invested. So that is why I just think Frieren is middle of the pack, because once again, the race this season is very tight. If it was any boring old season with very few bangers, Frieren would probably be my number one, but it just goes to show how packed this season is that Frieren is at the middle of the table. My grown ass friend's not watching it because there's a girl. Wait, what? Not watching what? Frieren? I don't enjoy the fam. Oh, hold on. I'm a bit too. Keep in mind, I had my sound adjusted for the. Let's put it like this. Okay, maybe it's better like this. I hope it's not spiking as much. For those of you who watch my nightly streams, I'm whispering into the mic because I can't wake up anybody. And so I raise my sound levels way too much. So I think now it should be fine. I don't think it's spiking anymore, but do let me know if the sound is spiking. Hot take, I don't enjoy the Frieren pounding and Stark dynamic. I think I enjoy it. I can see why people don't like it, but once again, I think that they're very realistic. Like Frieren is like 14 or 15 or whatever. If you like, know how 14-year-old teenagers act, I think that's very realistic. Once again, I enjoy it personally, but I can see why it would annoy some people. Especially if you like a more energetic, Genki, girl character. Frieren is not that. Frieren is very low-key, and she's very pouty. She's very moody. But once again, she seems so real, man. I can almost pinpoint women that I know in real life that were like this or are still like this. So, which is why I enjoy that dynamic. Frieren is best girl. See, this is the duality of men. Bubba doesn't like Frieren, Kostas likes Frieren. So yeah, I can see it. Turning point 4. Gaming. I'm assuming you mean Mushoku Tensei. I don't know, man. I do not read Mushoku Tensei. I have no idea what Turning Point 4 is. I'm assuming since it's a turning point that it will be very highly rated, but yeah, I don't know what that is. I have never read the novels for Mushoku Tensei. Yeah, Costas, that is also a very big call out. They did just sort of stop the season halfway through and before a big story arc, which makes me hopeful that Frieren Season 3 will be better because it will have a sort of big story arc, or so the manga readers say, and it will actually get me more invested in the story, which is what I'm desperately hoping for. Boku no Pico number 1. I don't know if that's going to happen, Chief. What episode was your favorite in Fire Force Season 3? Anthony, either the last one, because it was just, the last one, the grand finale, or Arthur versus Dragon. One of those two. Those were probably the best ones. Also, I have to say, that wasn't my favorite episode, but the episode where the author sort of justified his own gooning tendencies by saying it was an actual thing. So he built the fan service into the actual canon and had a justification for it. That was incredible mental gymnastics, okay? That was beautiful. I was laughing the whole time. Incredible stuff there. I don't know if I buy it, but it was very funny. Very, very funny. Yeah, my friends can't watch it since Frieren is the main character. What the hell? When I'm in a battle of misogyny and I'm Omniweapon's friends. I like the PTSD mage. Yeah, man, that one is a great character. The PTSD mage. Yeah, there's a lot. Once again, and this is the thing. I think there's a lot of good characters in Frieren, which is why it disappoints me that they just we rarely see them. The mummy mage being, again in the story, I think it was already very, very good, and I was thankful that we got to see her again because I liked her. And there are a lot of characters from the exam arc, for example, that I also enjoy that I think would be cool if we were to see again. Once again, recurring characters, overarching storyline, that's all that is missing to Frieren, in my opinion. Okay, up next. It starts getting tough from here. I'll put Oshinoko. I would honestly, looking at it back, I would probably even put Oshinoko below Frieren, if I'm being totally honest. So this season of Oshinoko is definitely a mixed bag, because it has some elements that I enjoy, but it also has, in my opinion, one of the stupidest, most cowardly story arcs of all time, which is, once again, without giving away any spoilers here, Oshinoko. I'll just give a bit of meta-analysis so I don't go deep into spoilers. But overall, Oshinoko portrays itself as this sort of anime that wants to give a behind-the-scenes look at the entertainment industry and almost criticize it, or at least criticize the dark aspects of it in a way. And that's fine and dandy, except it doesn't really do that. It seems like Oshinoko glorifies the medium that it is trying to analyze and criticize, and at various moments in the series, especially in this third season, when it is about to go over the line, actually go into the controversial topics, the hard-hitting topics, it cowards away and takes a step back, and that pisses me off so much. I think this third season is particularly egregious. It also has one episode that I really hate, where one character just does this sort of emotional appeal that I think falls completely flat, at least for me. And I don't know, I think Oshinoko, once again, banger soundtrack, completely crazy premise. I think it has a lot of good aspects to it, but I think there was a cowardice that was very obvious early on from the first season, and it keeps getting bigger and bigger until we get to this third season and we realize, okay, they're never actually going to do anything with this. They propose to criticize the entertainment industry, but every time that they're almost there, they take a step back. So I don't know, I think once again, in terms of visual presentation, soundtrack, whatnot, I think flawless execution from Oshinoko, but in terms of storytelling, I think it is an anime for cowards. That is the nicest way I can put it. Hot take, ReZero Season 1 is better than Season 4. Yeah, I think that is a hot take indeed. I think most people would probably not agree with you, either from a content standpoint. I think Arc 6 is better than Arcs 1 to 3. And in terms of presentation, I also think direction and whatnot is probably better for Season 4. But that one I can give and take. I think Season 1 did a lot of stuff right, truly right. ReZero Season 2 better than Season 4. Damn, now that is spicy. You guys know how I feel about Arc 4. I like it, but I think it is, my opinion of it is certainly lesser than the community's consensus on it is. I greatly prefer Arc 6 to Arc 4, and I think or should I say Season 2 had a few production issues. I don't think, visually speaking, it looks anywhere near as good as Season 4. So, yeah. To be honest, Oshinoko never clicked with me. Yeah, Abo, I can see that. I can see that. I think the premise is way too wacky. I should tell this story. Because it had like the entertainment industry stuff, and it had like a sort of revenge storyline, I was very stupid, and I actually said, hey, wifey, let's try to watch Oshinoko. All I will say is this. When the dude was when the gynecologist was reincarnated as the chick's son, my wife just looked at me, and I looked at her, and I was like, oh no. But she still wanted to watch the entire episode. Okay, 40 minutes, sure. We watched the entire thing. And then she looked at me like, what is wrong with you? And that was one of the few risky recommendations that I gave her. And looking back, I should not have tried to watch Oshinoko with her, because even I was a bit creeped out by the premise, being completely honest. But I thought, there's enough good stuff in here that she will probably enjoy it. But yeah, she was not convinced. And she looked me sideways. And then we started watching safer stuff like Apothecary Diaries. Pro tip. Sensei, I'm 16 now. Oh god. We never got to that point. If I actually watched that with my wife, she would flip out. But anyway. I was hooked because I love my revenge slop. I mean, yeah. Revenge slop does bring a lot of eyeballs. I think it is a very common theme, especially because a lot of people like to self-insert, maybe you're tired from studying, from work, you go home, and you sort of just want to watch some fictional media where you fantasize that you're getting revenge on the higher-ups that, are just belittling you or whatever. I think that's a very common trope for people. I think revenge slop is popular for a reason, and it can be done very, very well. As far as Oshinoko goes, I've read the entire manga. Let's just say I don't like the way the revenge storyline ended. That's all I will say. Hold on. Chat is actually moving fast for me to take over. Whoa, wait, hold on. Why can't I move my mouse? Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Oshinoko needs more of Mami Miyako. I can agree on that, man. I can agree on that. Yeah, but that is exactly the bit I was referring to. The middle-aged guy doing cosplay. It's like, I think if you've worked long enough, especially for an adult, we've all had that, you know, stuck-up boss who's very arrogant, who knows very little, and just sort of mistreats his employees. The way that whole situation was resolved was just cringe to me. I'm sorry, it was just unrealistic, and yeah, I don't want to spoil too much, but I hated that bit. I just didn't like it at all. Actage manga is better than Oshinoko. Yeah, man, it's a shame that Actage was cancelled because there were two manga that I was super eager to see the anime adaptation because they talked a lot about the manga being very, very good, namely Act Age and Akane-banashi. Act Age, as we know, unfortunately got cancelled because the author was into some Diddy activities, from what I understand. I'm not sure what happened there, but I do know it was cancelled. And Akane-banashi, I will talk about it later, but I loved it. Long story short, I will talk about it when we get to the spring anime. At least he didn't want to bang his mom. I mean, that is arguable as well, Omniweapon. Oshinoko is messed up. Then we start watching softer stuff like Mushoku Tensei. Yeah. I mean, honestly, between Mushoku Tensei and Oshinoko, I don't even know which is more sussy. You guys tell me which is more. In fact, I will run a poll right now just for the science. Hold on, let me get my keyboard. Which is more sussy? Oshinoko or Mushoku Tensei? Let's actually start this poll for science. We must know. I want to know which one would you be more uncomfortable to be caught watching in public? That is what I want to know. Apothe Peak? Yeah, man. Apothecary Diaries is so peak. It's incredible. Yeah, wife? Yeah, sure. Jojo fan. Okay. Yeah, David, that is a very realistic assessment. I think for a lot of people, Oshinoko peaked at episode 1, and after that, it was just kind of downhill. I will say, I greatly enjoyed season 2 of Oshinoko. I think the 3D theater arc was very, very cool. And I enjoy Oshinoko when it actually focuses on the entertainment industry, the sort of behind the scenes, you know, the casting, the melodrama between cast members. I think that is the good stuff. The revenge storyline, it's overly edgy and not executed well. The reincarnation storyline, I'm not sure about that one, Chief. And, you know, just the overall thing of, you know, the I'm 60 now, sensei, wink, wink. I don't know. That does not appeal to me, but I wish you well. I wish you well. And I hope you are not on any list. I mean, yeah, no, six pack. It was the start of genuinely weird stuff. I don't know, man. Oshinoko is just, the premise is like, even me, and this is the thing, when I was watching this with my wife, I was like, I cannot explain to you the premise of this show. You have to watch it and understand it for yourself. Anything I say will not do it justice. And yeah, it did explain itself, that is for sure. Character design tier list when? I mean, I don't know. Let's see. I'm still experimenting with these casual streams. Today I'm streaming during the afternoon where I can actually speak like a normal human being and not whisper into the microphone. Because I have a bit more free time in the house today. This will not be a common thing, but I do want to, number one, always try to stream at the end of an anime season to sort of do these tier lists. And number two, I would like to stream at the end of each volume of Rezero, which once again, I don't know if I'll be able to do this for this current volume that is already over, but let's see. I would like to make a sort of novel-only stream where we can freely discuss spoilers and all that. I think that would be fun. But yeah, I need to find time during the afternoon, which is very, very rare. Baby Oil Masters. Yeah, Anthony, I don't know if it will have an anime original ending. I think they are probably decided to stick with the manga ending, which will suck. But think about it. It will suck, but the good part is it will be very controversial and it will provide a lot of memes. So sometimes the meme potential is better than watching the series itself, which is very, very good. I Mushoku Tensei had me so desensitized that I even realized the weirdness of Oshinoko. That is true. And I talked about this yesterday when people were asking me what I thought about Fairy Tail. I watched Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest as an adult. It blew my mind how desensitized I was to fan service when I was a child, because I watched Fairy Tail when I was like, what, 12, 13? And Fairy Tail has so much fan service, but it's like, I just had blue blockers on or something. I don't know, just fan service blockers in my eyes. I didn't notice anything. I don't know what I should think about my child teenage self, but I was probably not okay. ASMR live stream when? I mean, I've been streaming Pokemon. Those are my ASMR streams, man. I'm very, very quiet on those streams to not wake up anybody. Yeah, Krat King, I totally understand. I think if it is very hard for somebody to get emotionally invested in a series when everybody from the manga readers or source readers or whatever it may be are saying that the ending is going to suck. I think that takes away a lot of excitement about the series. But honestly, in this situation, I think it's good. I think if you, as an anime-only Oshinoko fan, if you are excited for what's coming, please don't be. Please lower your expectations a lot and then take those lowered expectations and lower them even further, because it's going to suck donkey balls. That's all I'm going to say. Can you do Satel ASMR? Dude, the Elina Lee's getting bunga bug. Bro, that scene. I actually got into a fight. No, not a fight, you know, just an internet argument. But Mushoku Tensei fans were actually trying to say that the Elina Lee's series, that one scene was actually, oh, it fits her character so well. It's like, brother, what? I said I didn't like that scene, and Mushoku Tensei fans were saying that I just didn't understand the character, which, okay, man, okay, good. I can't even argue that anymore. I got to the first movie of Fairy Tail and stopped watching. Yeah, I mean, Fairy Tail does get boring after a while if you're older, or just if you've seen enough shonen anime. It is what it is. It is very formulaic. It is very much it's where the meme came from about the power of friendship, because literally every fight, a character can be getting its ass whooped from post to post, and all of a sudden, I can't let down my friends. Rah! Power up, and then he just wins. That is literally all of Fairy Tail's fights. So there, I just summed up the entire series for you. But once again, like I said yesterday, I think maybe this is nostalgia goggles speaking, but I do find a lot of the characters in Fairy Tail endearing. Maybe it's because I grew up with them, but I do have a strange nostalgic emotional attachment to the cast of Fairy Tail, which, there's something to be said about that. I think after a while, the power of friendship it starts off as a meme, but then it spins around to actually becoming sort of wholesome, which is a weird thing to say, but it worked for me. Maybe I'm just, conditioned to like Fairy Tail or something. I don't know. Okay, so let's go to the next one. The next one should probably be Jigokuraku. I think Jigokuraku is 7, 8. Yep. So Jigokuraku season 3, I think it's season 3, right? Or season 2. No, Jigokuraku season 2. This season was such an improvement from the first one, I cannot even put it into words. I think Jigokuraku always had a very fun premise. It's the sort of criminals go into an island in search of the elixir of immortality, and it's sort of a battle royale where everybody is against everybody, and there's factions and rivalries and just a lot of gore, a lot of gory fights. And Jigokuraku first season had the content, had the premise, but didn't have the presentation to back it up. The animation was rough at certain times during season 1, especially towards the later episodes, and it felt like it was one of those anime that the manga was very good, but it was constantly being held back by its adaptation, many such cases. But then we go into season 2, and boy, season 2 was such an improvement. The animation is much better, the presentation, it's just, in some of the fights, because once again, they're so gory already, the presentation is just so visceral, it's so good. I really enjoyed season 2. I thought it was a complete banger. Once again, it has the presentation to back it up now, and it actually has me invested in a lot of the characters because everything is just so chaotic. You can lose a character at any moment, which makes me even more invested in them. And yes, there's once again a lot of cliches and tropes from the usual battle shonen that you already know and love. I won't say that this is, you know, revolutionary for the medium because it's not, but it is nevertheless very, very entertaining. And I think if you enjoy the more gory, almost battle royale type of series, I think you will likely enjoy Jigokuraku. Just beware that if you start watching from season 1, the first season can be kind of rough at times. But season 2 is a much, much bigger improvement, and I definitely recommend season 2 in case you maybe watched season 1 a few years ago, but then you just sort of, I don't know, dropped it off, you weren't that interested in season 2. I would highly recommend you to go back and watch season 2 because it is worth it. It is much, much better than season 1. Fairy Tail is the most Japanese anime ever. I mean, that is both true and bad in a good sense and a bad sense. So, Yuzuriha, bro, the most breedable wife. Just for those who don't know, hold up, Yuzuriha. This is the lady we are talking about. She is, I would say, one of the female leads of Jigokuraku. And yes, she is very out there, but also a very fun character. There's layers, you know. She's not just a dumb hoe that just, you know, fills up space on screen. She's very interesting as well as a character because she starts off very pragmatic, only thinking about herself, and towards the end of the season, she starts being bonded to the other characters and caring about them more. Even though she's a selfish ninja, she becomes more wholesome and, you know, she fights for her friends and even takes personal risks that she would normally at the beginning of the season never take. So yeah, I like Yuzuriha a lot. And yes, it's a banger character design, as you guys can see. Definitely a very good character design. Bubba, what is the most controversial thing you watched in Mushoku Tensei? I mean, just the overall... I don't know, man. I think Rudio's with his cousin, that's all I will say. That was a bit out there. And also in the later season when he pretty much just cheats on his wife and the entire fan base is sort of trying to gaslight me that was somehow acceptable or the right thing to do, or that Rudios was redeemed somehow. I don't know. I think the biggest thing about Mushoku Tensei is the sort of disconnect that there is between my perception of what Mushoku is and what I'm actually watching on screen and what fans pretend that it is or try to convince me that it is. And I think there's a huge disconnect there. Oh, very, very nice. There was a specific production team for Jigokuraku. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense because the improvement was considerable from season 1. Oh yeah, David, we are about to talk about Gnosia. Don't worry, don't worry. I think, once again, this will probably be my spiciest tier list in a while. But let's see. Let's see how we do. Holy shit, I'm happy to find a fellow Gnosia fan. Yeah, I love Gnosia, man. I'm about to talk about it. Okay. I mean, Yuzuriya can peg me. What? What is going on, guys? What are you saying? Chat is wild today. The chat during the afternoon is much wilder. I guess during the night, everybody's just sort of chilling out. But during the afternoon, you guys are wild, man. Yeah, Anthony, I also hope that Rudios eventually grows up and becomes a better person. I have yet to see it, but yeah. I think a lot of fans told me season 2 was it, and I don't agree with that assessment. Okay, now let's go to number 3, and this is where things start getting freaky. Because these 3 to me, they were all excellent for very different reasons. This is hard. This is hard. Okay, let's start with the one that I know I will not put in top 1 because I like the other 2 more. Let's start with Fate Strange Fake. So Fate Strange Fake, once again, if you like Battle Royales, Fate Strange Fake is also a Battle Royale, but in a very different vein than Jigokuraku. Pretty much, and this is the thing, I could lie to you right now and say, much like some other people said, that you can actually start watching Fate with Fate Strange Fake. I will not lie to you. I think that is something you can do. You have free will. You can literally just type right now Fate Strange Fake and start watching. I cannot stop you. You can do whatever you want. You are a free person in a free world. Having said that, I would not recommend it, because the thing about Fate Strange Fake is that it has a lot of references, and it pretty much is an amalgamation of a bunch of Fate series, and has a lot of recurring characters and themes and servants and whatnot. And there's a lot of like neat details about the magic system. And the thing about Fate Strange Fake is that it takes the rules of Fate that you previously knew and breaks them a bunch of times. But in order for you to actually value that the rules are being broken, you must first know what the rules are. And Fate Strange Fake is incredibly overwhelming for a first-time watcher. I would not recommend it. It is the literal, like what, the first 12 episodes, it's just introducing new characters and introducing new systems and things that are happening and storylines. It's a mess, okay? A very enjoyable mess for those who like the chaos, for those who like Fate. But if you haven't watched at least Fate Stay Night or Fate Zero at least, I don't really think you should be watching this, because it's just a highly chaotic, confusing mess. Having said that, it is a beautiful mess. The animation is once again very good. The soundtrack by the GOAT Sawano, it is incredible. The soundtrack is an absolute banger, and it's just, the chaos is mesmerizing. It is beautiful chaos. I never know in any single episode what is going to happen. What am I watching? Where is this going? Who are these people? What do these people want? Always so many questions, but I think it's just so engaging throughout. I am glued to the screen. I was always super curious to check out the newest Fate Strange Fake episode. It's, once again, like I said, beautiful chaos. Would I recommend to everybody? No. Is this a good blind recommendation? No. But if you've watched Fate before, then I think you should try and watch this one. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I think there is, yeah, David, once again, I don't want to keep harping on Mushoku. I think I've talked about it plenty, but yeah, I think there's a very big disconnect, I can't even speak, my goodness. There's a very big disconnect between what fans tell me Mushoku is and what I can see with my own eyes, and that is why I felt almost gaslit by Season 2 discourse, which was very strange. Tensura bigger than Rezero. Yeah, man, for sure, for sure. I like my stories when the slime just goes beepity boop and wins. That's what I like the most. Booty charity giver spotted. Wait, what? What are you guys saying, man? Fate Strange Fake is the only one I didn't watch yet. I mean, if you didn't watch the previous Fate series, then yeah, I don't think you should watch it. I don't think you would understand even what you're watching, man. It's just so confusing. Even for somebody that knows, you know, that has watched a few Fate series and read the visual novel and whatnot, I was very confused multiple times watching this. I had no idea what was happening. Live, Assassin's Eyes. Oh, I assume you mean, yeah. The assassin chick from Fate Strange Fake is also a very good character design. Fate Strange Fake, assassin. So it's this lady right here. Hold on. This lady, which is also one of the few times there is a canonically Muslim character in anime. For those of you who think that's a cool thing, I think there's some Eastern people in my chat. So yeah, this is the first canonical Muslim character. And yeah, it's pretty cool, pretty cool. Which, you know, there's always the thing of how does religion fit into the Fate lore? And it's like, okay, let's not ask too many questions, man. She's a Muslim. Just take it as what it is. Ryder remains the best wife in Fate. So for those who don't know, Ryder, I don't think this is much of a spoiler. Fate, Stay Night. I won't say her real identity, although it's one of those things where, is her real identity a spoiler? Like, if you say that Darth Vader is Luke's father, is that a spoiler? If it's over 10 years old, is it a spoiler, you know? But yeah, this is Ryder from Fate, Fate Stay Night. So many Fates. And yeah, also a very top-tier waifu. Not the one I like the most from that series, but yeah, definitely a top-tier one as well. I think the character designs in general for Fate are very, very good. The character designs are very good, and when the character designs are ugly, it's on purpose. It fits the character, so which in turn makes it good, right? Sekiro, I've never played the game Sekiro, so I have no idea if the anime will be good. I mean, I've heard a lot of things about it, so yeah. What was that pick there? What pic? I assume you mean the one from... I think there's some fan art mix in there from the Google results. W representation, exactly. Wowie, rider must ride me. You guys are wilding today. Chat gets crazy during the afternoon. I have to stream more times during the afternoon. It's kind of hard for me, but I have to stream more times during this time zone because it's just... You guys are so funny, man. Either way, now we get to the top 2. And I have to be honest. There is a part of me that wanted to put Gnosia at top 1 because it's the underdog sleeper pick. However, if I look deeply inside my own heart, I think that if I do that, I'm just being a contrarian, right? I think even though it is the predictable result, I do think Jujutsu Kaisen takes the top 1. And I therefore have to put Gnosia in top 2. Hold on, where is it? Top 2, okay. So let's go with top 2 and then top 1. So top 2, Gnosia is incredibly fun. It is once again not an anime for everybody. I don't think everybody should watch this. It is based off a visual novel where you sort of have a loop continuum where you are playing games of wolf. So wolf and the villager, where there is one wolf. In this case, there is one Gnosia that is trying to attack every other villager, but nobody knows who the wolf is. So it's a dialogue game, it's a social game, it's a deduction game. It is based on that. And then we have time loops, much like ReZero, where we just sort of relive the same moment in time over and over. But unlike ReZero, this is not so much going back in time. This is more going into a parallel timeline, much like Steins Gate. Steins Gate is a better analogy. So in every single timeline, there are different characters, there are different enemies, there are different wolves, or Gnosia in this case, and it is very cool. And by the time you get to the later episodes, you just sort of discard a bit the gameplay loop and go into full story mode, where our main protagonist is trying to resolve an incredibly complex time paradox situation, which is the best way I can put it without spoiling anything. To me, once again, this might sound surprising as a fan of ReZero, but I like time loop series. I enjoy time loop series a lot, and I thought Gnosia was very fun. I enjoyed the characters. They were quirky, they were fun, they were very out there, and I really enjoyed the time loop situation and the just sort of mind break that we had in some episodes. I thought they were very good. Is this an anime for everybody? No. Downsides of this, it is very dialogue heavy, so if you want something a bit more action-centric, not a lot happens besides characters yapping to each other, which I know a lot of people won't appreciate. Also, I will say, if you're not a fan of the characters or of the gameplay loop of trying to discover who is the Gnosia, the anime can be a bit boring because it is very repetitive in the early episodes. Yes, you get new characters, yes, you get new things on every loop, but it can get a bit repetitive for those who are looking for, the next thing. There is no next thing for a while, it's just, Gnosia games. So, yeah, in my opinion, it is once again something very niche. For me, for my particular tastes, I greatly enjoyed Gnosia, but I do realize you can't just give this as a blind recommendation because it is not a good anime for the sort of general population. Now, what is a good anime for the general population is my top 1, Jujutsu Kaisen Culling Games. This is insanity. Whatever I said about the animation presentation of all the other animes below it, it cannot be understated. Like, Jujutsu Kaisen is just on a level of its own. The direction, the animation, the soundtrack is just so good. It is a spectacle. Every single Jujutsu Kaisen episode is a spectacle. They managed to make an episode of pure lore dump, just pure yapping. They managed to make that easy to follow along visually. Just incredible storytelling. The things that I have against Jujutsu Kaisen are not necessarily about the anime adaptation, but more so about the source material itself, in which I think Jujutsu Kaisen is very much a new generation anime, where we had stuff like Naruto, Bleach, Inuyasha, that was a fairy tale, that was very slow burn, and we had these very long story arcs, and even One Piece nowadays is still very slow burn, but Jujutsu Kaisen just sort of swings the pendulum on the other direction, but perhaps a bit too much, where things go by super fast, and sometimes you're almost starting to connect with a character and the emotional payoff is already here. It's like, whoa dude, I'm barely connecting to this character and it's already the end of the storyline. What is going on? So things in Jujutsu Kaisen happen very fast, It can be very abrupt in terms of storylines, in terms of characters, and it sometimes gives you the feeling that you were left wanting more. Like you were enjoying this, but it was over too fast. So that is my biggest criticism for Jujutsu Kaisen. Other than that, I think it is very, very good. And the third season, it just somehow Jujutsu Kaisen just kept getting better and better. And this third season, man, it's just such a spectacle, truly a marvel of animation. It's just incredible, incredible, incredible. And it does things with its animation, plays around in certain ways that you will not see in any other anime. So I think even if you aren't overly invested in the characters or the story, I think just for the visual spectacle, just because of how different it is from other shows in this list or other shows out there, I think you should do yourself a favor if you're a fan of anime and at least give a shot to Jujutsu Kaisen. I think it is worth a shot at least. Yeah, I love the development of the characters throughout the different runs. Speaking of Gnosia, I love how we have multiple endings and how we explore them. Or once again, much like I said about Jujutsu Kaisen, it felt like some of the endings were a bit too abrupt, but overall the story felt well cooked, which I can't necessarily say about Jujutsu Kaisen. JJK is peak, yep. Yeah, no six pack. Those criticisms are totally valid. I would actually say I got pretty invested in the Higuruma storyline, even though it was only one episode. I will say the Maki storyline needed like a story arc, like a proper story arc for us to get invested. You know, you can't really have a revenge storyline while barely acknowledging the target of revenge, right? Which was what we had in Jujutsu Kaisen. Was the episode gorgeous? Yes, it was. Was it a blast to watch? Yes, it was. But it needed more time to cook. Once again, I think this season had a lot of bangers, but no perfect anime that I can say this was a 10 out of 10 masterpiece. I don't think we had that. I think the closest we had to me was Gnosia, which once again can be a bit repetitive. And in terms of, it was very pretty in terms of the character designs. They're very, you know, just cool looking, but the animation wasn't anything spectacular or anything. And Jujutsu Kaisen had the visual spectacle, but it lacked that certain something in storytelling. Some things felt undercooked. That's my biggest criticism. One Piece haters in the chat, that's crazy. I mean, I do get it, right? I dropped the anime a long, long time ago, probably almost a decade ago now that I think about it, which is crazy. I'm so old, I'm so old. But I still keep up with the manga. Yeah, Higuruma was my favorite part of this season, without a doubt. I would rather watch Paint Dry than watch JJK after season 1. Damn, that's harsh. But you know what? I don't think you're the only one. I actually tried to get a friend to watch Jujutsu Kaisen, and he didn't like it at first. He just dropped it. And then I said, don't worry, dude, it gets better. And then he ended up liking it, but he didn't think season 1 was for him. So I do understand it. I think Jujutsu Kaisen, and I don't know if this was purposeful or if it was just a direction choice from the author halfway through, where Jujutsu Kaisen starts off very generic battle shonen. You think it's going to be one thing, and then halfway through, it just completely steers the wheel into another direction. So the way that Jujutsu Kaisen is currently at in terms of storytelling is not where I think it would end up from watching season 1. I definitely thought it was going to be a lot more generic and safe. And after a while, Jujutsu Kaisen is anything but safe. It is very crazy and very bold in its decisions. Some of you may argue, not good decisions. That's an entirely different conversation. All I will say is, in terms of storytelling, Jujutsu Kaisen is very bold. One for his backstory, one for the fight. Yeah, I think so, no six-pack. I'll be honest, I don't really remember. But I do remember it felt short. But yeah, even then, to me, Higuruma was... I think Higuruma was the appropriate time. It was fast, like every new generation anime is. It was very fast-paced for the TikTok kids, you know, to be able to keep their attention span. But I don't think it was undercooked, like some other storylines in the season. I think Higuruma was fast, but the appropriate time. Do you rank ReZero as your top 5? Anime of all time? Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. I rank ReZero as my top 2. It's a toss-up between ReZero and Gintama. It's just depending on how I'm feeling on the day, because ReZero is, you know, the one I like the most currently, and I'm doing the Jujutsu Kaisen meme, my favorite anime of all time versus my favorite anime of today. But Gintama has a lot more nostalgic value. I grew up watching Gintama. It was to this day the only anime that made me cry from sadness and cry from laughter. Gintama is just amazing. Once again, not for everybody, very niche, but it just fits my particular tastes perfectly. But as far as my current anime of the current age, it's ReZero without a doubt. So it's in my top 2 for sure. One Piece has been going downhill ever since the time skip. I think a lot of people share that opinion. I think One Piece had a lot of good things going for it and still has a lot of good things going for it. But, and once again, I think there's gotta be a happy medium between Jujutsu Kaisen and One Piece. I do think that One Piece's length is a criticism against it. And I think some say, oh no, I wish we had more One Piece because I love it so much. And okay, sure. But at one point, there is something to be said about brevity, about having a story that sets out to achieve a goal and have this sort of narrative arc and just finishing it. At some point, you have to finish, okay? And I do think that at some point, us spending however many years in Dressrosa, however many years in Wano, I think at some point, man, you just gotta wrap it up. And obviously I don't want One Piece to be rushed, especially not after all this time, right? Sunken cost fallacy and all that. But I do think there is a value in, having a beginning, a middle, and an end, and finishing. Finishing is very important. You must finish. And to give a example from last year, you had an anime like Takopi's Original Sin, where that anime was very short, 8 episodes, and I know it wasn't everybody's cup of tea, and that's fine, and the ending could have been more expanded on, sure, that's fine as well, but I think there is a beauty in having the 8-episode anime, just something that has a beginning, middle, and end. You can watch it, you can binge it, and I think that's very cool, and I think that should be more of the industry standard. I would be very happy if we had a mix, a happy medium, where we have anime that are more glorified commercials for the source material, as is something like Fate, dare I say, as is something even like One Piece, I would say, and where we have anime that are standalone adaptations that are good on its own and can be watched and can actually be finished, like Takopi, for example. So yeah, I do think that is a long-standing criticism of anime in general, but that's not a new thing. That's going all the way back to when I started watching anime. So many anime that I watched that never had a season 2. That was a Madhouse meme for a while, that Madhouse would never make season 2s for anything. And yeah, it was just very sad. So many anime that I greatly enjoyed and never had follow-up seasons, which is, by the way, one of the reasons I started reading light novels, because I wanted to know, okay, what's next? And when we had the dark ages of ReZero, when we didn't know if we were actually going to get more material, that's when I started reading the novels, and I'm very thankful for that. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't think just because something has good animation that it doesn't mean that it's also good in general in terms of storytelling. I think that's a false dichotomy for sure. I turn my brain off every time I watch AJK. I mean, that's true as well. I wouldn't say turn my brain off, but when the thing about JJK is it's very self-indulgent. When they start about the explanations of the curse energy and whatnot, and for example, I still don't understand what the main plan of the villain is. And to be honest, I don't really care. Whenever they start talking about the main villain and there's that huge wall of text, I just sort of turn my brain off and nod. Yep, dude, I believe you. And yeah, I just enjoy the other aspects of it. Which one do you choose? Gintoki or Subaru, and why? Ah, come on, man. You can't just ask me to choose between my children. You don't ask a father to choose between his sons. Come on. That's a rude question. I will say, even because of the type of series that it is, Subaru is the better written character, and Subaru is probably the more interesting character. Because also, once again, because of the type of series that it is, when you meet Gintoki in the series, Gintoki is not a fully finished product, but he's already an adult and a lot more ahead in his development. Whereas you meet Subaru and you accompany him from like a stupid, just brat teenager into who he became, right? And I think that journey has a lot more beauty in it because you see the highs and the lows, especially a lot of the lows. So I would put Subaru above Gintoki in terms of writing, in terms of me liking them, right? But yeah, very tough choice there, man. Very tough choice. May I ask, how old are you? I assume you mean me, in which case I'm 30. I am an uncle, a certified unk. Madhouse meme, 1 million. No game, no life fans crying in the corner. Yeah, man. Just, by the way, speaking of no game, no life, I have to address misinformation and fake news, which were spread by me in one of the previous streams. In one of the previous streams, somebody asked me what I thought about No Game No Life and if we were ever going to get a season 2. And at the time, I thought that I had up-to-date information, and I said that No Game No Life didn't have new novels coming out, so it just didn't have enough buzz to warrant a new season. Apparently, that is completely false. No Game No Life has had new novel releases up until, I think, 2 years ago or something. So why do we not have season 2? Don't ask me, ask Madhouse. I thought it just simply didn't have more content to adapt, but that's not true. It has a lot more content to adapt, and it just chooses not to. So, I don't know. I don't know about that. Gintama, Monogatari, ReZero is your top 3. I mean, that seems solid. I've heard a lot of good things about Monogatari, but I never watched it, so I can't really speak about it. Yeah, David, I agree with you. I think Subaru is more realistically written. I think Gintoki can be very Supermanish at times, but I think they're still both incredible characters. And Gintoki is also very human, but once again, it's also different phases of their lives, right? Gintoki is already an adult. The struggles he goes through are very different. Subaru deals a lot more with his incompetency and his lack of ability, whereas Gintoki leads a lot more with regret. It's a lot more of a mature character arc than Subaru, which once again, not to say one is better than the other, but yeah, I think also ReZero gives a lot more space for Subaru to grow, whereas Gintama is also very comedy focused, and growing Gintoki as a character is not the priority for the series. So yeah, apples to oranges and all that. Okay, and I think that is pretty much it for this one. Can I rename a tab? I don't think I can. Okay, either way. But let's make another one. So this is it, my final tier list. So top 1, 3, 7, 9, 10. Yep, it's a perfect normal distribution. And now we are going into the winter, no, should I say spring of 2026. So once again, top 1. Oh, let me just change the color here. It's something more palatable. Actually, should I even call it top 1? I'll just call it... So top 1, and then let's do the other ones. I won't even pretend to lie to you guys like I'm going, I wonder, what is the top 1? I'm undecided. Obviously, guys, you all know what I'm going to put in top 1. Let's not even pretend, okay? So let's go into spring 2026. Let's go here, bada boom, yep. Let's, instead of square, we shall put portrait images, much better, very good. And yeah, ReZero in the top 1. Let's not even pretend. Let's start with the top 1, okay? Yeah, ReZero, it's peak, it's amazing. It's one of my favorite series of all time. It's, like I said, arguably my favorite series currently. It's amazing. I think the character development is incredible. The drama, the storyline, the mystery, it's just so good. The way I get invested, and once again, it is one of the things I criticize about some anime in this list, that they had a lot of prettiness about them. The presentation was very beautiful, the soundtrack was gorgeous, maybe the action was very good, but I couldn't quite get invested in the characters, and that is something that ReZero does very well. I root for Subaru, I love so many of the secondary and even tertiary characters, and I think it does a great job at getting you to feel and empathize and root for its characters, and I think the story, especially for Arc 6, is very bold, but very well executed. If I say to you on a vacuum, we're going to have an amnesia plotline, most of you guys just roll your eyes, okay, here we go again, time to suck. But no, this one is just the best example ever of an amnesia plotline, where you sort of deconstruct the main character and make him grow even further, and put him into an impossible situation that requires him to grow beyond what he was, even with his memories. And just incredible, man. And you guys know that, I've cried watching ReZero before. This is, without a doubt, one of the best fictional series I've ever watched in my entire life. I love it. It's great. I love the anime so much I started reading the novels. I think where ReZero was lacking was mostly in its production value. I think the animation, even though the soundtrack and voice acting have always been perfect, gorgeous, I think the animation department was lacking somewhat. And I think in these new seasons, I think that has been not totally fully handled, but I think it's much better. A definite improvement over season 2 and season 1. And yeah, it's ReZero, man. I love it. Most of you watching this live stream right now are likely fans of ReZero. That is why you subscribe to the channel. So I don't think I need to convince you to go watch ReZero. In fact, I would be surprised if there is anyone right now in this chat that has not watched ReZero. So yeah, I don't think that I need to justify it any further. Katlehi, do you think ReZero will maintain its popularity after Arc 6? I'll be honest, man, I don't know. I am very hesitant because on one hand, Arc 7 is very action focused and sort of takes away some of the elements people like the most about ReZero. On the other hand, if it is well animated and given the proper time and attention to, I think anime fans may be a lot bigger fans of Wallachia than novel readers are, because at many times the novel in Wallachia just dragged, whereas in the anime it can go actually quite smoothly and be very visually engaging. So let's see. I am tentative, I am hesitant, but I'm hopeful for the best. Let's see where it goes. Crackhead lol Yakuza to show up. Which I didn't saw the twist, the natural number 1. Life, you are crazy, man. You are wild, my brother. You are wild, my brother. My favorite arc, no doubt, about Shogun Assassination arc or the Farewell Shinsengumi arc. Gaming, I'll be honest, it's been a few years, but I think it's probably the Shogun Assassination arc that I like the most. But the Farewell Shinsengumi is also very good. Man, it feels like the last like 5 or so arcs from Gintama, it's just banger after banger. It's just, they're all so good. So good. I mean, there's no shame in crying at Subaru's at Subaru's growth and moments, man. It's just so emotionally compelling, which is why this is one of those things where I think ReZero, and maybe some fans will be pissed at me for saying this, ReZero will never be the #1 anime in a year, because it's just simply not the most popular. And it shouldn't be the most popular, because ReZero is not necessarily an easy to consume anime. It's not a mainstream anime. It is something that is niche, but with the people that it connects with deeply. And that is the strength of ReZero. So if ReZero doesn't win Anime of the Year or whatever, don't be sad, don't be pissed off. I think it's natural, because the Anime of the Year in a popularity context is by definition the one that appeals to the most people. You know, it's the common denominator. It's being more mainstream doesn't mean it's better. It means, in fact, that it's watered down, that it's worse. So there can be mainstream anime which are very good. Once again, I think Jujutsu Kaisen, despite its flaws, is very good. But an anime like Jujutsu Kaisen would never be my top 1 or even my top 3. And it's the niche, it's in the niche that you really find those anime that really connect with you. And to me, ReZero is the perfect example of that. I would not, and once again, this may piss off some people, I would not recommend ReZero to just anybody. I just wouldn't do it, because I don't think it's the type of anime for everybody. And in fact, I talked about this in yesterday's live stream. I saw this Reddit thread about this dude that watched that watched ReZero as a teenager, didn't like it, and then went back as an adult and greatly enjoyed it. And I think that makes a lot of sense, because for you to even be able to enjoy ReZero, I think you need to sort of live a little and go through some tough situations in your life to sort of even be able to fully connect with Subaru as a main character. And if I watched ReZero when I was 12, 13, like some people try to watch nowadays, I don't know if I would like it as much, quite honestly. I think watching ReZero when I was already a sort of young adult, I think it gave me a whole new appreciation for it that only continues growing as I grow older. So yeah, enough about glazing ReZero. Let's go to the other ones. Yeah, I just, so hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So once again, 10 anime. That is, so we can just copy the, right? 3, 7, 8, 9. Top 3, and then top 7, and then top 9. Okay, so out of all of these, I think now that we have established the clear favorite, let's go back to the bottom. What did I enjoy the least? That's pretty easy, actually. I don't even know why this is here, but I guess I just downloaded everything from my anime list that I watched in this period. My Hero Academia, more. This was just a special episode that was an adaptation from a bonus chapter of the manga, I believe. It was just the finale, saying what was up in the heroes' lives and giving a bit of romantic. Once again, I can't even say it's a finale or a closure of any kind. It's just a romantic tease with Deku and Ochaku, the main couple of the series. I don't know. It was okay. It was there. I don't have anything bad to say about it. I don't really have anything to say about it. It was a special episode that I watched. Okay, it was cool. Whatever. I don't really have anything to say, man. I'm sorry. It was just kind of there. If you're a fan of My Hero, definitely go watch it. If you're not a big fan of My Hero, I don't know, man. I don't see the point of you going out of your way to watch this. Once again, it's only 20 minutes, so if you want the closure, if you're like a completionist like me and you want to feel the closure, then sure, go watch it. Otherwise, like, who cares, man? Yeah, same, man. I don't care about anime of the year. I just want to, get the anime animated with the proper effort that it deserves. That's all I care about with ReZero. We love when Subaru is brutally treated like a dog but stands up again like a hero. I mean, that description is graphic, but but I agree. I can't help but feel we just speedran season 1, season 2, and for what? It was peak, but what will it change? I mean, David, you need to watch the full season. And yeah, I hope you get your answer at the end. I think it is worth it. Once again, I don't want to sort of force my opinion on everybody because I think a lot of people, especially in more like hardcore-minded communities such as ReZero, they just try to force their opinions, right? But I think that in the end, this season 4 will be worth it, and I think people will enjoy it. But once again, there are people whose arc 6 is not their favorite arc, so it all depends. 6, 7, 6, 7. Perfectly mid, not bad, not good. Yep, exactly. Perfectly mid, it just exists. Oh, right, and by the way, we still have to do the Crunchyroll Anime Awards. We're going to have a lot of fun with that. We can do that after this. Yeah, it was pretty good for those who wanted to see the series nicely wrapped. That is about as much as I can say, man. I don't have really much to say about that either way. Yeah, so once again, My Hero Academia more. It was more. If you want more, there is more. If you want less, then you don't need to watch this. Okay, so up next, I think it's pretty obvious as well. Our good old slime is coming out. So, slime, reincarnated as a slime. Once again, I don't have a lot of positive things to say about this that I haven't said already. I also don't have a lot of negative things to say about this that I haven't said already. Slime is very much dialogue intensive. It is a yap fest. The characters talk a lot, especially around tables and meetings, which reminds me of work, and it just triggers the hell out of me. It's so boring to watch. It's probably the laziest way you can do exposition in lore dumping. I think that season 4 has been considerably better than season 3. At least they don't spend their entire time around the table, right? That's already an improvement, not having a furniture commercial. But at the same time, the thing about slime is, and I said this yesterday, and I said it in the spur of the moment because I was kind of sleepy, but the more I think about it, the more I think I'm right. The best way to look at slime, and I know slime fans will hate this comparison, but slime is closer to solo leveling than it is to something like ReZero or Mushoku Tensei, in the sense that it is very much the main character flexing, and the story strongly revolves around the main character, and the secondary cast is sort of at some point become caricatures of themselves. They just solely exist to adore and support Rimuru as the main character. I think that solo leveling is a bit more honest about what it wants to do. It's very action-centric. It never pretends that it's very cerebral or anything. Whereas Slime tries to do a lot of political maneuvering and tries to be storyline heavy and dialogue heavy. But the thing is, I just don't think that the dialogue is compelling. I think you have series like, for example, Apothecary Diaries, which has a lot of dialogue, a lot of yapping, but everything is just so interesting and done in an interesting way. And I think, in fact, Apothecary Diaries is the best comparison you can do against Slime because it shows that the formula works. You can have a yap fest, a dialogue-heavy anime, strongly focused almost exclusively on its main character, but you can have it work and be interesting, like you have in Apothecary Diaries. Whereas I think Slime is not a good application of the formula. And even in this very season, I'm still keeping up with it. And we had an episode that had this villain that was built up throughout multiple seasons. Oh my goodness, this villain is so evil, is so Machiavellian. Oh my goodness, what is going to happen? And then Rimuru just literally Goomba stomps the villain, and that was that. And it was revealed there's another villain. And okay, man, sure. I don't know. The thing about Slime is that everything always feels so anticlimactic. It's like the anime is desperate to show you that Rimuru is very cool and very strong. And it's like, okay, man, we got it in the first 10 episodes. He's very cool and very strong. There's never really any gritty fight where he has to fight for it. And even in the fights where he has to fight for it, for example, in season 3 against Hinata, then we have this thing where he just comes back and Gooba stomps, right? Even when it's close, even when it's a close fight, he has to come back and just prove that he's so much above the enemy, right? And I don't know. I think in terms of action, especially in this season, you have some nice fight scenes, but most of the fights are just super one-sided and uneventful. I think the story, especially its political aspects, are very naive. A lot of politics come down to Rimuru just offering chocolate or ice cream or other modern day goodies to the other people and them just becoming enchanted with Rimuru and wanting to trade with him. There are a lot of obvious storylines you could do in a world where there's an emerging superpower, an economic behemoth that is led by monsters, right? I think you could have a lot of, storylines based on that, on envy, on racism, on hesitancy to cooperate with the monsters, and you have some of that, but it's always so simple-minded, so naively written, so poorly developed that it just, I don't think the political aspects are super engaging. I don't think the action aspects are super engaging. I don't think the cast is super engaging. So we're left with something that is very cozy, very mid. To me, Slime is a definition of mid. It's a cozy show that I like to watch either when I'm about to go to sleep or when I'm having lunch, just munching down some food, just barely paying attention to the screen. I don't think it's a great show. And the only reason I watch it is because of, I don't know, some sort of perverse attachment to Rimuru as a main character, some sort of nostalgic vibe I get from it for some strange reason. I don't know, but it's a mid show that I would not recommend. Okay, let's see what you guys are saying. If you guys, if there's any Slime fans that are raging right now. My favorite part of the show was that I thought Rimuru was a femme. Once again, chat is wild at this time. You guys are wild. Even the same people that come to the nightly streams are just way wilder during the afternoon. That's so funny. Soul Leveling is one of the true shows to me that will never surpass 2 out of 10. I mean, Abo, I get it. If you want something that is story-driven and actually has character development, then yeah, Solo Leveling is not for you. But the thing is, I think unlike Slime, Solo Leveling is very honest about its intentions. It's Unga Boonga, action, main character looking cool, aura moments like the kids say. It is very honest, okay? You do not go into Solo Leveling expecting a great story. And if you go, you have been misled or lied to because that is not what Solo Leveling is, nor what it ever was. And, I think it's very good. You need the B movie, you need the action movie, the anime equivalent of the action movie directed by, Michael Bay or whatever. You need the explosions. You need something fun to just watch. Not too intensive on the brain. You don't need to think too much about it. You just want to see the colors and the beeps and the boops on screen. I think that's good. You need those type of shows. I think anime as an industry needs as much of Solo Leveling as it needs ReZero, as it needs Apothecary Diaries. They're different shows for different audiences, and I think Solo Leveling does what it intends to do very well, but it's definitely not for everybody. And if you want, actual story and writing, then don't watch Solo Leveling. Yeah, if Slime doesn't hook you from the very beginning, if you don't like the sort of premise of village building, then you might as well drop it because it's pretty much just that. And if you're not attached to the village or the main character in any way, I don't think there is much for you after that. There are no stakes. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of one of the problems, yeah. Yeah, Bubba, that is also one of the things I hate in certain anime. That is one of the problems with Solo Leveling. And also, in many ways, it's kind of a problem with Slime too, where you have a character that keeps growing in power, but every other rival and enemy is stagnant. So even enemies that seem impressive at the beginning, they are eventually overtaken by the protagonist and they never catch up. So it can be kind of boring to have. Obviously, it's satisfying from a viewer perspective to see your main character grow and you just see how he's growing, how he's struggling to grow, and that can be cool and cathartic when he truly gets strong. But at the same time, if the other characters don't grow, it's just, okay, man, what are we doing? It's just, it's like you're watching a walkthrough of a solo player game, you know, of a single player game. That's the best way I can put it. It can get kind of boring, especially in solo leveling. The moments I enjoyed the most for solo leveling were the first 2 seasons, or at least what was depicted in the first 2 seasons. After that, Sung Jin-woo, the main character, starts getting so strong that I don't think the fights are super interesting. In my opinion, once again, they're also very hype in terms of animation and whatever. The art for the manhwa is very good, but I just don't think it ever reached the peaks of season 1, where you saw the character actually almost dying every time he fought a boss. That was very entertaining, and it never happens again, which is a shame. Yeah, I think Slime peaked the season 2, most likely as well. I think it had actual stakes and characters dying, and you actually felt for things. It was a totally different vibe. A certain generic Dungeon Master show that wasn't a Slime show. Huh. I'm sorry, OmniWeapon, I don't catch the reference? Generic Dungeon Master show. You mean Wistoria? I don't know what you mean, man. Sorry, I didn't catch the reference. Slime is just discount Overlord. And Overlord is discount... What? Game of Thrones? What? Are you saying God as in Game of Thrones? I'm sorry, man. You lost me. You lost me in that comparison. Hey, what's up, Hachio? What's up, man? It's been a while. Watch Days with my stepsister. Dude, chat is so wild during the afternoon. I'm sure that Days with my stepsister... I can't even speak. I'm so surprised at what you just said. Days with my stepsister. I'm sure it is great. I'm sure it is just a fine anime. I'm not sure if I'm interested in watching. My brother just binged all of Slime, and it seemed kind of like random stuff just happens. Yeah, that is a lot of what Slime feels right now, especially in Season 3. It seems like Rimuru has just gotten to a point where he's so strong, things just sort of happen to him, and he's just sort of vibing through it. And other villains try to have plans, but you can't even get invested because you know all plans are going to fail, and Rimuru is just going to Goomba stomp everybody. So yeah, it's a bit uneventful. Dungeon Meshi. Yeah, but Dungeon Meshi doesn't really have a Dungeon Master. I guess it does, but that's kind of a spoiler. I don't know. I don't remember the name, so it's not your fault, Dio. Okay. Not much, just freed from exams. How have you been? Hey man, sup? Freed from exams? Yeah, this would be around the time I would be freed from exams as well. I certainly do not miss university. I still sometimes, this is so stupid. Up until a few years ago, I'm 30 now, so up until I was like 26, I still woke up sometimes in the middle of the night, having a nightmare that I had an exam for tomorrow and I hadn't studied yet. So goofy. So stupid. I was traumatized. Yeah, Media, I also read the entire manhwa of Solo Leveling, which is why... that is probably also why I never took Solo Leveling seriously. Because I read the entire manhwa before the anime adaptation, and I knew what I was coming in for. I was just expecting good animation and hype moments, like the kids say, and I had that, so my expectations were met. I think a lot of people, because of the buzz coming in, they were expecting something a lot more cerebral, right? Like, oh, the main character's by himself, and only he can grow. They were perhaps expecting something a lot more... in the lines of Rezero, where the main character is put through a lot of traumatic situations and grows from that, and instead it's just more numbers go up and bada beep bada boop, he runs 10 kilometers and gets more powerful. So yeah, cool. It's cause Hinata is hot. Dude, chat is so wild today, I love it. Yeah, literally, the last episode, Rimuru just says, nah, I'd win, and just one taps to do it. It's true, it's true. Yeah, Delicious in Dungeon is great. I am so eager for Season 2. And yeah, good luck as well for whoever still has exams to come. Always remember, you don't need to study. You either know or you don't. So studying is useless. Just kidding, kids. Just kidding. Stay in school, kids. Don't do drugs. Do not do drugs. Okay. Now, up next, we've talked a lot about slime. Let's go into what is next on this list. Oh, it's a bit tough, actually. Keep in mind, just for those who know what this is, Lord of the Mysteries, I actually haven't watched all of the episodes. As of the time of this recording, if you're watching this in the future, I have watched only the first special episode. So just so you know. I mean, Marriage X Toxin, right? Marriage Toxin. So I will just put right now the synopsis of Marriage Toxin on screen, just so you can read as well. Marriage Toxin, anime list. So I will attempt to summarize this. So you have this dude, which is called Gero, and this dude is not popular with the ladies, he does not have a girlfriend, and he is the leader, or should I say the heir to his clan, and the leader of the clan wants a successor, but because he cannot get a wife, the leader of the clan then asks his sister to marry another cousin or whatever to produce offspring. And his sister is a lesbian, so she has a girlfriend, and he does not want his sister to be unhappy. And so he says, hold up, clan leader, I will get a wife. And so he sets out to get a wife, and he meets this marriage swindler. Are you still following me? He meets this marriage swindler. And he says, hey, you know how to swindle people and play with their emotions. Surely you know how to get myself a wife. And she says, yes, I can, I will help you. And then on, they become the iconic duo that is out to get a wife for our main character. And also this marriage swindler right here. You see this girl right here? You see this lady? This lady? Yeah, you see this lady? It's a man. So, it's a lot, right? The premise for this is a lot. This is very much more of a romantic comedy with some action in it. The action is also very good, which is surprising. The action scenes for this are actually very well animated. This anime is once again one of those wacky animes with some wacky premise that is just completely nuts. This is nuts. Even just saying the premise out loud, it sounds ridiculous, right? And it is ridiculous. And the show is just so goofy, man. The show is so goofy, but it is also very fun to watch. Would I say this is anime of the season or anime of the year? No, it is not. Would I say this has been just strangely enjoyable? Yes, it has. It has been strangely enjoyable. So, yeah, once again, judging by the premise, this is not for everybody. This is very much a trip to watch, but I think if you're into these goofy types of premises and you're into the main character on every single episode meeting a new chick that is a pretender for him to marry, then yeah, then there's that. Marriage Toxin, everybody. I don't even know what to say about this anime without sounding insane. Okay. I don't even know what to say. Most of you are like, is he on drugs? Is he on something? Is that real? I promise I'm not lying. She is a he. Yes, she is a he. I like men. Now the chat will start getting even crazier now. And a bunch of people left when I start talking about Marriage Toxin. That's funny. Okay. Is it safe to watch with the family? I mean, yeah, in the sense that, like, this doesn't have anything perverted or anything, at least that I can remember. See, this is the thing. Even though the premise is very stupid and very wacky, it actually has less fan service than something like Fire Force or even something like Rezero at times with the Priscilla scenes. Marriage Toxin really doesn't have a lot of fan service. It's just pretty girl characters doing things. And it's more so the protagonist being very awkward around women and there being comedy around that. I actually wouldn't say it has a lot of fan service. So if for some strange reason you decide to watch this with your family, go ahead, man. Have fun. This is a strange pick for sure. But I just want you to be happy. If that would make you happy, then be happy. We've been waiting for the Felix Argyle show. Let's enjoy Kisexis. Okay, man. Okay, so that is my top 9. Now, going into top 7, I think this is a right moment to introduce Wistoria Season 2. So, Wistoria Season 2 is once again a very meathead show. It is very much action focused. I think that Wistoria isn't completely devoid of storytelling, but it's also not super strong. I think it is definitely more catered towards fans of action. I think the action is very good, very well animated. I think that the protagonist is endearing in a way because he's very much a bookworm who studies a lot and puts a lot of effort into everything he does. I think the premise of having a dude without magic powers in a world of magic, I think that has been played out many times, right? Black Clover, Marshall, it's not a new premise by any means, but I do think the spin of Wistoria is different. And I think that Will, our main character, has a very different vibe from Asta, from Black Clover, for example. He may be very strong, but he's not a meathead. He studies, he's intelligent, he's smart, he's proactive, he's assertive. I enjoy him a lot, and obviously he gets a lot of bullying for having no magic powers, and we get a lot of storylines around that. And I think Season 2 has been very hype as well in terms of fights. Is this like a 9 point something, like IMDb tells me it is? I don't think it is. I think the storytelling is very much uninventive, let's just put it that way. That is the mildest way I can put it. I think the storytelling is not anything to write home about. I think it is very tropey in many ways. It has a lot of common tropes from these types of series, but I think it is executed fairly well. Once again, if you want something super creative, something new, something out there like Marriage Toxin, for example, you will not get that. This is pretty much the bread and butter. This will have a lot of elements you've seen before, many times before if you've watched a ton of anime, but I think it's executed well. The execution is good. The premise is okay, the execution is good. That is the best way I can put it. So if you're looking for a show that is very action-centric, with some hype fight scenes, with some swords, some wands, some magic spells, a lot of spells going around in big fights, I think Wistoria is the anime for you. If you somehow can relate with the underdog trope of somebody who studies a lot and wants to have the best grades possible and really prove the people who doubt him wrong, then I think maybe if you have a sort of spiritual or emotional connection with the main character, you will perhaps enjoy this more. Having said that, once again, the storytelling isn't stellar. So don't expect coming in that you will have a masterpiece on your hands. This isn't a masterpiece, but it's plenty entertaining. That's about the best way I can put it. Once again, this is also the type of show that I watch when I'm having lunch or something. It's just, it's very entertaining to watch. It's not something I need to think deeply about, but it is entertaining and I value it for it. Once again, you need a mix. You need the sort of mind break shows, you need the yap shows, you need the action shows, you need a mix of everything. And I think it's good to have different tastes and watch a bit of different perspectives on the same medium, in this case anime. And yeah, I think Wistoria has its place in the industry and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. Saw Rezero together with family and they got hooked on anime. Really? That's super cool, man. I've actually tried watching Rezero with my wife and we watched Arc 1 only and then we just had, we didn't have the time investment to continue watching anything else, so we only watched like the first 3 or 4 episodes or whatever, but she enjoyed it. So, and she's also a huge fan of time travel series, so I think definitely one day we will have wife reacts to ReZero. Probably not. Probably she doesn't want to be on camera, nor do I want her to be, if I'm being honest. But I think one day I will definitely make a video like, hey, I watched this with my wife, and this is the normie opinion on ReZero. I'm so curious to watch her opinion on the episode where Subaru says, I love Emilia. I'm just so curious to watch that one episode, how she's going to react. But either way, that's something for a later time. Really, that's how you got to know Marriage Toxin? That's funny. I actually I got to know Marriage Toxin because I put a poll on Twitter saying, hey guys, what's good this season? And more than one people recommended Marriage Toxin, which is why I started watching it. I like this version of Anti-Magic the most. I mean, yeah, I think Wistoria's spin on Anti-Magic is very cool. You should watch Ascendance of a Bookworm. Yeah, Krat King, I will say that is one of the, I guess, mainstream or more popular shows that I've never watched. It's Ascendance of a Bookworm, Danmachi, and I think Kagekurui. Those are pretty much the only, I guess, famous anime that I've never watched for one reason or another. Yeah, I saw that gaming that Wistoria Ep 11 had a very high rating. Once again, I watched that episode. I would not have given it anywhere close to a 10. So I don't know if it's so much the episode getting review bombed or if it's the episode getting very boosted by the most diehard fans and then just sort of normalizing into a more sensible rating. I don't know what's happening there, but either way, I don't think Wistoria is close to a 10. So that's just my personal opinion. It's very good at what it does, but I would put it on the 7-8 range. I think having a 9.8 is ridiculous. I think to have a 9.8, in my opinion, you need a mix of everything. You need to excel at everything. Storytelling, animation, soundtrack, voice acting, action. You need to have like the perfect package, right? To even get close to a 10. And I don't think Wistoria has the perfect package or anywhere close to it. Wistoria could have been way better, but it's not completely ass. This is the most backward compliment I've ever seen, but yeah, sure, I'll take it. Hot take, Elfie doesn't deserve Will. Colette does. She was the one who was there for him. I mean, Elfie was put in an impossible situation, right? And she technically was there. Obviously, no spoilers, but yeah. You probably know what I mean. Once again, that's the thing about Wistoria. I'm invested in Will as a character, but I actually don't care a lot about the romantic aspect of it, if that makes sense. So I actually don't care a lot who he ends up with, even though I think it's obvious he's going to end up with Elfie. But yeah, I don't super care about that. My mother said that was logical. Sorry, Abo, I missed the train of thought. I don't know what you're referring to. Underdog story sold me in season 1. Yeah, I mean, the underdog story, once again, I think Will is a lot more rootable for than somebody like Asta. I think Asta can be very annoying. Very, very annoying early on in Black Clover. Whereas Will, I think, is endearing right from the get-go. I was rooting for Will the entire time. Rem loving Subaru is not human-like. Which is kind of true. I mean, yeah, I think Rem is a very special character, let's just put it that way. Bookworm is pretty lacking on the production and animation aspect. I mean, Krat King, that's fine. If it's a yap fest, as long as the characters and story are interesting, I'm fine with that. Once again, I think the animation for Apothecary Diaries is also very weak, but I greatly enjoy that series. In fact, I liked it so much that I watched it twice, once by myself and once with my wife, and she also enjoyed it a lot. So I think depending on the type of show that it is, you actually don't need super strong animation. If it's like a yap fest, you only need like good presentation. For example, the characters in Apothecary Diaries are very pretty, and the way the anime presents itself is very gorgeous. It is a lot of sleight of hand to actually hide the fact that the animation isn't actually that good. There isn't actually a lot of motion on screen, right? If you compare an average episode of Apothecary Diaries to the average fight scene of Demon Slayer or Soul Leveling, you can see, okay, I can see the difference. But Apothecary Diaries is very good at playing sleight of hand and sort of doing the best at what it can. So I don't think a story that's, dialogue driven, which I don't know if that's the case for Bookworm or not, but if it's more dialogue driven, I don't actually think it needs a lot of animation quality to be super good, right? When do you think ReZero Season 5 will come out? I mean, Anthony, I'm dying to know. I hope to know after Season 4 is over. I hope they announce it immediately. Or at least I hope they announce the date. I hope they don't announce it immediately, because if they announce it as in for 2 years from now or something, I will be doubtful of the animation quality. So let's see. I'm very hesitant about the ReZero Season 5, but I think it's probably coming out, especially with the raving reviews from Season 4. I would be more surprised at this point if Season 5 didn't come out. Now, will we have a One Punch Man tragedy level situation? I hope not, but let's see. 2032, so that would be 6 years from now. I mean, I would prefer it to be less than 6 years, but I don't think that's unrealistic, unfortunately. Have you seen The Amazing Digital Circus? No, I have not. I really only watch anime, man. I don't really watch anything that's not anime. For better or for worse. I rarely even watch movies, so. What do you think about the 40-minute ReZero finale? I'm hyped, man. I'm super hyped for it. I always like when finales and beginning episodes have extra time, because I think it allows for things to breathe more. and for you to properly build things when it's a beginning episode, and for you to properly close things when it's a closing episode. So I love 40-minute episodes. I will say, perhaps because I've watched so many hundreds of anime ever since I don't know, ever since I was like 11 years old or whatever, but I have become conditioned to the 20-minute episode. I think it's the perfect unit of time where you can expose enough information about the story, have a lot of building, but at the same time be short enough where it can be very digestible. I don't necessarily like it when episodes are all 40 minutes. I think you should reserve the 40-minute special for special moments, either the beginning or the end. Once again, my personal opinion, I know it's controversial, and I know that some anime, or donghua in this case, managed to really nail down the 40-minute special. Like, for example, Lord of the Mystery Season 1 was 40 minutes episodes, which I did enjoy. But yeah, that was pretty much, generally speaking, I prefer 20-minute episodes. I think they're better. Does it have the over-the-top main character only focus on his goal and the girl lust over him? Not necessarily, Halifat. I don't think Will is over-the-top. He's very quiet, very humble, keeps his head down and just works, which is why I think he's so different from Asta from Black Clover and other main characters. Really, you prefer 30 minutes? I mean, yeah, that's fine as well. For example, it depends, once again, I think it depends a lot on what you grew up watching. For example, my wife watched a lot of Korean dramas and just normal series like Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad and whatnot. So she thinks it's infuriating that anime episodes are so short. Whereas to me, I think the 20-minute length is perfect. And I prefer having longer episodes only for special moments. But once again, it's just a matter of preference and habit. I've just watched way too much anime where the 20-minute is just engraved in my soul, you know? If it's more than 20 minutes, I start going crazy. Really? ReZero's perfectly for an anime only. Yeah, I think ReZero, and this is the thing, I think ReZero, and this is perhaps a bit spicy, ReZero may be better for anime onlys as an adaptation than it is for novel readers, because I think novel readers get to a point where they're just way too demanding and way too focused on what the novel was, and they sort of lose track of the experience that the anime is trying to portray. And so I actually think that for anime onlys, if you're coming in blind, I think ReZero is way better than if you have some sort of preconceived notion of what you're expecting to go in for, if that makes sense. Once again, I think some people do a good job at distinguishing between what is the anime, what is the novel, but I think some novel readers can be a bit almost obnoxious with their very, very high expectations. Do you think Season 4 is better than Season 2? Yes, Hunter. In my opinion, I prefer also Arc 6 to Arc 4 in general. I'm not one of those people that thinks Arc 4 is the best, so I do enjoy a lot of things about it, but my opinion of it is different than the community consensus. Don't remind me of One Punch Man Season 3. I'm sorry, man, I'm sorry. The new Lord of the Mystery Season 2 should all be 20 minutes. Is it Season 2 or just the special episodes? Because I think it's just the special episodes, no? Yeah, Emilia is the Witch of Glaciation, which I think is mostly just a nickname, also to scare people away. But yeah, as far as the other witches go, I don't quite know how to feel about a lot of them because I haven't seen a lot about them. And their character designs are very wacky, but I can't say there's any single witch that I've really gotten attached to without giving you novel spoilers. Wink, wink, wink. So, yeah. I think we will have an arc or a moment in the story where we will delve deeper into the witch's past and the whole thing surrounding the witches, right? And what happened with Echidna, why does she have the witch's souls? And I think from that point forward, I can have a better, more solid opinion of my opinion on the witches, right? A better, more opinion. But until that point, I don't think I can, really give you a strong take like I love them or I hate them because I'm just a bit indifferent towards them. I recently discovered your channel and will start reading the web novel starting tomorrow. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I'm always super happy when I get more people to read the novels, which I think is super cool. Just try not to become a jaded novel reader, which is the end goal for a lot of us, unfortunately. That's why I don't want to read a light novel, because I feel it will ruin the show for me. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it will ruin the show. I think The novel, so the novel is a nice compliment. Once again, I'm reading the novel at the same time as I'm watching the anime. I'm doing the second reread of Arc 6. I'm having a blast. I think it's very fun. But I think it's very important if you're a novel reader to sort of measure your expectations and understand that the end goal of the director and the production committee is not to make the most faithful adaptation possible. What they want to make is they want to make a solid, good, standalone anime that serves as a good commercial for people to get interested in the novels and start buying the novels. Once you start going about it from that perspective, I think you will be less jaded and more open to actually liking the anime and not be as overly demanding with the the anime adaptation. Because I think some people, even coming in, have wild expectations. And it's like, not only was a one-to-one adaptation never the goal for anybody, a one-to-one adaptation would also not be good because it's a book, okay? If you adapt every single line of monologue, you just get some very dense, poorly paced episodes. And you think you would want that, but trust me, you would not want that because it would suck. So yeah, that's pretty much my crashing out moment. Yeah, Artastic, I think I tried to do a good job at giving you guys the cut content without being overly critical or jaded, because once again, I've been an anime only before and I know what it's like. How many times does it take you to cover one chapter of ReZero, light novel and web novel? I'm not sure I understand this question. Generally speaking, I read it once and I make a video about it. Before I made videos about volumes. Nowadays I make videos about chapters because I caught up. And when the anime is airing, as in season 4, arc 6 right now, I reread the light novel for the section of the episode so that I can have everything fresh on my mind for the video. That's pretty much my pipeline. Yeah, Attack on Titan, man, don't even get me started on Attack on Titan. They even added that plot hole in season 4. Sorry, but I'm confused, Costas. What plot hole? But I mean, if it's a spoiler, don't tell it. But yeah, I do think they missed something major in season 1, which they had the perfect chance to adapt in season 3, which I think was a missed opportunity. But it is what it is. How long does it take you to read? Oh, he meant time. Oh. I mean, the chapters are varying in length. It depends on how much you read and how focused you are. If you have ADHD brain and you constantly need to stop your reading to go check your phone or something, then it takes you a while. But usually for a volume, I would say reading a ReZero volume, just so you have a measurement, I guess. So this is a ReZero volume. This is roughly the length of it, right? For a volume like this, I would say just reading on the afternoons after work, I would usually take 2-3 days. But once again, I may perhaps read more intently than you. I guess just try and read one and see how long it takes you. It depends on person by person, right? I've also read a volume of ReZero in a single night, but we don't speak about that night. I didn't sleep a lot, that's all I will say. But I was just way too locked in, man. I was locked in. Season 4 doors. Oh, right. I still don't know what is up with that, to be honest. Yeah, Artasik, I think so too. Yeah, I think so too. I think the web novel, when I heard that in the web novel they went left and then right and then left, it's like, I don't know about that one. I think that the light novel is the trimmed, more finalized version. I think a lot of the stuff that the light novel cuts is actually for the best, generally speaking. Especially because, it's the author doing the cuts. It's not like it's a production committee or anything. So I don't know why people are so pissed off about web novel cuts when the author decided that was not good enough for the story. So I don't know why you're angry. But yeah, okay, guys, let's move on here because we will never finish this ranking at this stage. Okay, it's already almost 7. Okay, so up next, Yomi no Tsugai, Daemons of the Shadow Realm. This is by the same author as Full Metal Alchemist. Hold on, I can just go to seasonal anime, right? Spring 2026. Yeah, so Yomi no Tsugai, Daemons of the Shadow Realm. This is by the same author of Full Metal Alchemist, who I enjoy very much. I think that this one, there's a bit of action here, a bit of comedy, as is typical as well of Full Metal, and there's a very strong sort of familial bond and drama that is going on here. If you like the sort of theme of estranged brothers, in this case brother and sister, I think it's a recurring theme of the author in her works, where she has some sort of sibling relationship as the main protagonist. I am enjoying this. I can't say this is, amazing or mind-blowing or anything, but I think it's very cool. I think it can also be surprisingly gory and violent. The first episode shocked me with how hard it went. I was not expecting that, certainly. And I think the story can be a bit things are just happening kind of vibe. I think it is sometimes a bit random, the order of events, like what's happening on screen. You kind of never know where it's going. There's a lot of, random events happening at all times. But besides that, I enjoy the characters, I enjoy their dynamics, and I think it's a good show. It's one of those shows where I think it's perfectly placed at middle of the pack. I don't think it's bad, but I don't think it's excellent either. It's a good show. It's entertaining. If you've watched Full Metal Alchemist in the past and you enjoyed the author's work, then give this one a try. It is very likely that you will enjoy it. Is this as good as Full Metal Alchemist? As of this moment, having watched 10 episodes or whatever I watched, I wouldn't say so. But I think it has potential to maybe one day be better. Let's see. But yeah, it's a good show. It's middle of the pack. That's pretty much it. Do you think they will still adapt the floor names? I hope so, because that was a very stupid cut from the anime. I don't understand why they cut it. It was always my expectation that they were going to adapt it in the next episode, but then they never did. So I'm not sure what's up with that. Which volume did you read in one night? Mitaka, I don't really remember. I think I did that twice, actually. I think I did that for one of the volumes of Arc 3, which I wanted to record a video, and I was going on vacation, and I had to read it as fast as possible. And then I did it, I think, for one of the volumes of the web novel. I think it was probably for Arc 7, where I think it was the Gladiator Island volume. I was just locked in, man. I was just locked in. I was so locked in. Definitely a tad underwhelming. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that, yeah. At least you skipped out on Liar Game, that was horrible. Oh, really? So I was actually going to talk about that, because I've had Liar Game on my list of manga to read for like years now. So when I saw it got an anime adaptation, I was actually a bit excited to watch it. I ended up not having time because I picked up all these other shows, right? I'm already watching way too many things. But is Liar Game not good? Has anyone here watched Liar Game? Do let me know if you think Liar Game is good, or should I say in the chat? Right here, right here, right here. Yeah, Daemons of the Shadow Realm being 24 episodes is also exciting, because it gives you, a lot more time to get invested in things. So I think that's good. Okay, up next. This is going to sound psychotic for many of you, but also I'll just order this right here. This is going to sound psychotic for many of you, but I do not care. Up next, Witch Hat Atelier. Witch Hat Atelier is a very cutesy show, very wholesome, very well produced as well. I think that in terms of animation, soundtrack, once again, very, very nice. Having said that, there's something missing here where I am not fully invested yet. I can't quite tell you what it is. I love the world building for this. I think using magic as a means of drawing this sort of artistry theme they added to magic is wonderful. I love it so much. I love the world building. I think it has a lot of interesting things, but I don't know if it's because the cast is so young that my brain just defaults more to it being a wholesome show. I haven't been able to really connect with it yet. So I think it's missing a little something. I'm not quite sure what it is yet. Keep in mind, as of the time of this recording, I have not watched the final episode. Not that I think that would change my mind as of this moment, but I don't know, it's just missing something. Regardless, I think this show is beautiful. The world building is very compelling. I think it has a lot going for it. when people say this is the top #1 show of the season, I can see why they say that. It's just that for my particular tastes, I don't agree with that assessment. That's pretty much it. Hello, Pro LARPer. Okay. Animation is pretty bad, and I'm not really a fan of the writing either, so the manga might not be interesting either. Liar game. Okay, okay. I watched the finale of Witch Hat Atelier in the theater. It looks like just an ad for the manga. I mean, yeah, most anime, like I said, if you're super cynical about it, most anime are just glorified commercials for the original source material, right? So I can see that. I wanted to love this, but for the whole season, I kept waiting for the actual story to start. I mean, I can see that. I can see that. That pretty much summarizes my feelings as well. I don't put it on top 3 because, yeah, I'm expecting for that big moment where I connect with the characters and I get really engaged with the story, but that moment never came for this season, so... Okay, up next, I can't in good faith put Lord of the Mysteries any higher than top 7 because I literally have watched 1 episode, right guys? So I can't just sit here and just glaze it for no reason, so I will put it at the peak of top 7. These are the Lord of the Mysteries special episodes. Where is it? Seasonal anime, mysteries. What? Where is it? Lawton? Where is it? Oh, this is already summer. Hold on, spring. Okay, my bad. Mysteries. Where is Lord of the Mysteries? God damn it. Lawton? Lord? Okay, whatever, man. I can go to my own anime list, no? Oh, it has the Chinese name, probably. I think it has the Chinese name. That's why I can't find it. Yeah, it has a Chinese name. Whatever, man. So, Lord of the Mysteries, this is a bundle of 3 special episodes. We only had the first one up until this point. The first one focused on the story of Derek, the son, and it was very good. I thought for once, and this is something strange because this episode was 20-something minutes, so it was shorter than the 40-minute episodes we had in season 1, but it was actually better paced, which is crazy how they had a better pacing with less time, but it is a fact. I could actually follow what was going on this time, which was super, super good. I thought this episode was great. It really led us to, know the story of Derek and get us to feel for him, get us to empathize for him. I am super happy and super excited to see him in the story again, hopefully in season 2, I don't know. I've never read the novel. And yeah, I think this is super good. Once again, the animation for this is stunning. The presentation is incredible. Lord of the Mysteries looks gorgeous. The soundtrack and the voice acting is very overly serious and very dramatic and very just epic sounding and looking, but because it takes itself so seriously, it works. So I love this. I love the vibes. I love the story. I think it did a very good job. I think if Lord of the Mysteries keeps its production value while slowing down the pace and giving more care to present its product in a way that is digestible by general audiences that are not novel readers, then I think it will be a masterpiece, honestly. I think it is very, very good. Once again, I must say the disclaimer, Lord of the Mysteries is not for everybody, okay? This is very much niche. It is for people who are very much into nerdy world building and nerdy magic systems. If that's you, try to watch Lord of the Mysteries. Also, if you like mysteries, pardon the pun. But if you are somebody who wants a more streamlined, simple story, I don't think Lord of the Mysteries is for you. It can be very overwhelming, especially the first few episodes. It's just an overload of information. A lot of people might not like it. A lot of people have not liked it. I have seen their opinions on social media and whatnot. So once again, very niche, but from my particular tastes, I greatly enjoy it. Yeah, I'm waiting for Witch Hat Atelier for season 2 to be better. I think if Witch Hat Atelier, once again, it's the exact same criticism I gave to Frieren. I think if Atelier has an actual overarching storyline and gets me to connect with the characters more, I think it's off to the races. I think it's going to be very, very good. As far as current with Hat Atelier, it was good, but it felt for me like I watched the tutorial. This felt like the prologue for something. I don't know what that something is. I hope it's good, but this whole thing felt like the prologue. And yeah, that's not the feeling that I want to have after I watch a season. Just Glaze Lord of the Mysteries. You almost gave me an heart attack. Oh, it's your top 3? I mean, yeah, I think we have a lot of Lord of the Mysteries fans for some reason, which is kind of strange because one is a novel, light novel from Japan. The other is a manhwa from China, right? But a manhwa? No, what's it called? I guess I'll just say a novel. But there's a lot of intersection that I see in my comment section between fans of Rezero and fans of Lord of the Mysteries. So that's actually quite fun, which is why I think I should start for the health of the channel to review Lord of the Mysteries. I think you guys would enjoy it, but let's see. Bro is dyslexic. Yeah, man, I am kind of dyslexic, by the way, but yeah. Especially on stream where I get more, in a rush to speak so that I can speak more fluently. My dyslexia fully kicks in. Season 2 should be slower. For which Hat Atelier? Yeah, wait. What are you talking about? Season 2 should be slower for Lord of the Mysteries? I think for both it should be slower, right? I think for Lord of the Mysteries it should also be slower because the thing is, the magic system and lore in Lord of the Mysteries is so expansive that you almost need to front load it so that the audience can even understand what they're watching. So season 1 was always going to be an info dump by the very nature of the type of series that it is. I think once we got the big dumps out of the way, now we can actually focus more on the story and characters, which is why I'm actually very hyped for season 2, because there's no doubt to me that we will still introduce a lot of lore, but I think now we have the foundation, so it's easier, it's more digestible. I think now it will be better for season 2, I hope. I hear high praise for Lotma, I'm just waiting for all the specials to come out to binge it. Yeah, man, I think the specials were very good, at least the first episode, so yeah. Okay, so now for top 3, it is no surprise that perhaps controversially for some, my top 3 is Akane-banashi and Nippon Sangoku. Let's start with Nippon Sangoku. Nippon Sangoku has a very peculiar presentation. The way it's animated is kind of crazy. It has a very wacky presentation with colors and sounds and letters jumping on screen. It is very, very dynamic, very different from things I've seen, but it is very good. The story is also very compelling. You have this sort of world where there was this nuclear war, there's a apocalyptic event that makes a lot of technology be regressed and lost forever, and Nippon, or should I say Japan, is back to the almost medieval ages, the feudal ages, and you have these guys, these 3 kingdoms that are separated in a warring state, and you have these 2 guys which are fighting to unify Japan once again. And that premise is super cool. You have a lot of cool moments, a lot of cool action sequences, a lot of strategizing, outsmarting each other. I do think this series, and it is one of the biggest downsides against it, this series can get a bit overindulgent. This series sometimes loves the smell of its own farts, for lack of a better expression here. But this series can sometimes be too cute for its own good, where there is a plot point in this series where a character gives a sort of riddle or enigma to our main character, and our main character goes to this sort of super convoluted explanation to figure out what the other character meant. And it's like, bro, just tell him what you mean. You can literally just communicate with him. And they make up some BS excuse like, oh no, they must, if you need a plan to convey to the shogun, it must be something truly great. You must arrive at it yourself. And it's like, no, you don't. No, you don't. You literally just say, hey man, this is a very important plan. The fate of the nation relies on this plan. Take it. And it's like, okay, why overcomplicate things? I think this series can get a bit overindulgent at times, like also quoting the Art of War all the time. Literally everything is a quote. So this can get a bit overindulgent, but besides that, I am super invested on the characters, on the politics, on the world building. I think every aspect of it is super well done, even if it can get a bit overboard sometimes. But besides that, Presentation, great. I love the soundtrack. Another banger opening by Tatsuya Kitani. The story is also very, very cool. I don't know, man. I really enjoy this a lot. Unfortunately, it's on Amazon Prime, which means a lot of you won't have legal access to it. Wink, wink. But yeah, if you can somehow watch it, wink, wink, then I would recommend it. If you're into more politics, warring, and just sort of feudal states, if you're into that sort of aesthetic. Speaking of aesthetic, a super cool thing is that there's this mix between just literal medieval war and present-day Japan, where there's a lot of things like structures and buildings and cars that are still there from the leftover civilization. So it's a very uniquely aesthetic-looking series, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a super banger series that was a bit down low. Not a lot of people watch this because, once again, it's on Amazon Prime, so it's not on Crunchyroll or Netflix or some of the more readily available streaming services that most people have. But yeah, I would definitely recommend, if you're into these type of themes, drama, military, whatnot, go watch this. You will likely enjoy it. Who is better, Gojo or Reinhardt? Reinhardt, obviously. Yeah, Krat King, once again, it's a thing of, like, this is super good for people who are into this type of stuff, but it's very niche, right? The thing I said, where the most popular anime are not necessarily, you know, the best for any individual person, they're just the common denominator, right? I think Nippon Sangoku is very much a niche anime, and I don't think, I would be surprised once again if this reached even top 5 in any popularity poll at the end of the year, even though it's very good, right? But it's super niche. It's for a certain type of person, not the average anime fan. That's for sure. Now, finally, we must talk about Akane-banashi. Where is it? Akane. Yep, here it is. So I love this. And speaking of niche, Akane-banashi is the epitome of niche. This is a story about Hakugo, which is traditional theater of Japan, where there's a person sitting down on a pillow and all they have is a fan and their own gestures and voice intonations to play out a story. It is very much niche. If you've watched Hakugo before, then you know what it is. If you don't, then I think this series does a good job at introducing it to you. I don't know if this will be interesting to everybody, but me personally, I loved the main character. I was so into her. She's very energetic and assertive and proactive in a good way. She's not annoying or overly loud. This is also has a sort of a revenge story subplot, which is also very funny. And I think this anime is, I watched Hakugo, Showa Genroku Hakugo Shinju, something like that, a few years ago, which was also an anime about Hakugo, but that one was very overly dramatic, very serious, and once again, it was perhaps a bit overindulgent at times. This one does the perfect mix of sort of battle shonen with a bit of tournament arcs and the power-ups, but always in a very grounded Hakugo context, right? And it does a good job at having a sort of Genki, energetic main character that's super wholesome and easy to root for. And it does a good job at taking something that is perhaps a bit heavier or more boring for younger audiences like Hakugo and present it in a very palatable and fun way. So I really enjoyed Akane-banashi. In fact, I enjoyed this so much that I just literally binge read the manga. I watched until episode 10, I think, and then once I had watched every episode that was available, I jumped on the manga and I binge read it. I cannot recall the last time I binge read a manga. That was how much I was into this. Once again, is it for everybody? No. Is it for me? Hell yes. So if you're into this type of stuff, go give it a shot. This is on... What is this on? Oh yeah, this is on Netflix, unfortunately. Unfortunately, it's in Netflix jail, so not all of the episodes have come out yet, but I'm sure that if you are inclined enough to watch all of the episodes, I'm sure you can find a way to watch all the episodes. Wink, wink. Yeah, I won't say anything else. For legal reasons, this is all a joke. I'm joking. Such jokes, such humor that is being provided here today. React to Lawton Season 2 trailer on the stream. I don't know, man. I think I'll get copyright struck for that, so I will pass on that one. Kadokawa is after me. I don't want to mess with our Chinese overlords as well. I already had a bunch of copyright strikes from Kadokawa, unfortunately. I had to start censoring stuff even more, which is why, like, the episode reactions, right? I show very little of the episode. Number one, because in some episodes, like the last one, for example, I just get so engrossed in the episode, I actually don't talk a lot. I don't think I'm a very experienced or professional reactor, if that is even a thing. But also, if you show a lot of the episode, just the anime companies just sniff you, man. Kadokawa is sniffing my channel, and I don't like to be sniffed. I like to be unsniffed. That is how I prefer to be. Okay, and now we have finished both our tier lists. I think these are acceptable enough. Obviously, the tier list for spring is not surprising to anybody as to what top 1 is. We've already talked about it. And so, now that we have a bit more time until 7, I'm just going to very quickly go and possibly roast or possibly praise. Let's see, let's open our eyes and minds. The Crunchyroll Awards, I actually never talked about them. It is a yearly tradition for this channel to roast the Crunchyroll Awards. So let's do it right now. Crunchyroll. Oh no, this is the categories, news, anime awards. Let's go. Let's go. Anime awards. Once again, just for full transparency, I do not. R2. Okay, let's not spoil the winners yet. Hold on. Just for full transparency, I do not know anything about this. I saw that Rezero won Isekai of the Year. That's pretty much it. And I think Mao Mao won Character of the Year or Voice Actor of the Year. I spoiled that on Twitter, but otherwise I saw nothing about this. So let's be surprised by the wonderful and always very fair Crunchyroll Awards. Starting off with Anime of the Year. I'm already laughing. Yeah, guys. I don't know about this one, Chief. I don't know about this one. So, was My Hero Academia, the final season, good? Yes. Was it entertaining? Yes. Was it Anime of the Year? No, come on, guys. Let's be honest. It's My Hero Academia. Good lord. Good lord. So out of this list, I mentioned in my end of the year review that to me, my movie of the year was Chainsaw Man. The piece of anime fiction I liked the most that year was Chainsaw Man, the Reze movie, once again. But strictly speaking about anime series, my favorite anime of the year was Takopi's Original Sin. I would also have Lord of the Mysteries as perhaps a donghua as a close second, close second, but I thought that Takopi was superior because Lord of the Mysteries was a mess at times in terms of storytelling and info dumping. So even though Lord of the Mysteries was a bigger spectacle, visually speaking, I prefer Takopi as an overall product. And especially, I was speaking about this earlier in the stream, where I think there is something to be said and valued about an anime that is just bingeable. Beginning, middle, end, no second season that is never coming, no go read the manga, no go read the novel. It's just an anime you can sit down and watch and be satisfied with a full, complete experience. And I highly value Takopi's Original Sin for that. So to me, it is my personal anime of the year. As far as everything else that is here, no hate, okay, to My Hero Academia fans. I would literally put every single anime that is here above My Hero Academia. So that's all I will say. Once again, no hate, guys, no hate. But yeah, just being fully honest here. Up next, what is this? Film of the year. Once again, I watched, what did I watch? So I only watched the top 3 movies in this row, just for full transparency. I watched Chainsaw Man and Demon Slayer in the cinema, and I watched 100 Meters at Home on Netflix. To me, like I said, Chainsaw Man movie Reze was by far movie of the year, not even close, by far movie of the year. The storytelling, the presentation, the moments of human vulnerability and realness, and the just balls to the wall action. I thought this movie had a bit of everything. Incredible movie. Chainsaw Man, the movie Reze. Once again, also one of my favorite arcs from the manga, so that plays a factor, but either way. I thought Demon Slayer was very good as well, but you go into Demon Slayer already knowing what you're going in for, right? You know, it's just excellent animation, but the storytelling is what it is. This movie is just a series of fights, and it's not a very good standalone movie because it's just sort of a part of a bigger whole, so it doesn't feel like a complete movie experience. So I would definitely also take points away from that. And 100 Meters, I made a full review about this. It's on my channel. Long story short, I enjoyed it, but I think it is overrated by many. I enjoyed it, but not that much. And I think when people say this is better than the Chainsaw Man movie, I think you're crazy. You are out of your mind if you say this is better. Once again, my personal opinion, no hate. They made a channel just for Akane-banashi episodes. Yeah, man, I was so excited for that until I realized it is region locked and I cannot, in bumhole Portugal, watch that channel. So, yeah, cool. That's all I will say about that. I missed the witch hat discussion. Hey Satoe, what's up, man? Just sort of give a TLDW of that discussion. I enjoyed it. I think it's very visually appealing. It was very nice presentation, but I think it's missing something. I can't quite connect with the characters yet. I love the world building. I love the drawing as a magic system, but I think this entire season, keep in mind I haven't watched the final episode yet, but it doesn't matter. This entire season to me felt like a prologue to something that is yet to come, and I don't know what it is yet. It's probably good, but this entire season didn't feel meaty enough, if that makes sense. So that is pretty much the TLDW. Oh, you can click the next button? Okay, thank you. I will do that instead. Orb. Oh, yeah, right. Wait a minute. David, you're right. Orb was of the previous year, right? So why is Orb not in the... What? Why is Orb not nominated? That is crazy. Orb should be here. Why is Orb not here? Once again, Crunchyroll awards, guys. This is what I mean. You can never take ratings and popularity votes seriously because this is the slop you end up with. People actually voted, a majority of people actually voted for My Hero Academia as Anime of the Year. Okay? Which, once again, it's a good show, but it's the common denominator, right? It's just the slop that attracts the most people. It's not the one that's the best, that captures the heart the most, if that makes sense. So yeah, I don't know. Demon Slayer was lacking serious story bits for me. Yeah, the movie was just a sequence of fight scenes, very pretty, very well animated, but it was just a sequence of fight scenes, right? And when they did try to get more emotional, the flashbacks just dragged for way too long in my opinion, so it is what it is, you know? Season 1 is just a prologue. Okay, that makes sense, I'm hyped then. I'm hyped for Atelier Season 2 because Atelier Season 1 was very good. I just thought it was missing that special something, which is, by the way, the exact same criticism I gave to Frieren Season 2. I thought at some point we need an overarching storyline and something to really grip me by the balls. I have not been gripped yet by Frieren. It's very wholesome, very cute, very visually appealing, but it needs something. It's lacking spice. Orb is so good. See, a lot of ball knowers in the chat. A lot of ball knowers. Orb really deserves it. Yes, it does. Now, once again, would I expect for it to win a popularity vote? No, I wouldn't. But for it to not even be nominated, that is crazy. Now, best continuing series. Dun Dun Dun, Kaiju, My Hero, Soul Leveling, Spy Family, One Piece. Huh? Hold on. This is 2025, right? Hold on. Rezero. Hold on. Rezero. Season... Where is Season 3? Rezero. Season 3. This finished in 2025. Hello? You did not... Once again, if no six-pack is watching this, shout out to you, my guy, but why the hell is Rezero not here, but we have Kaiju number 8? Kaiju number 8 is crazy, dog. It's the middest of the mids. And the award for most mid goes to Kaiju number 8. Why is it here? Where is Rezero? Where is Rezero? Where is Orb? Didn't Orb also start in 2024? Orb. Where is Orb? Hold up. Orb. God damn it, not this one. Orb. Yeah, started in 2024 and it in 2025. Why is it not here in continuing series? This is crazy. Kaiju number 8. Kaiju number 8. More like top 8 slop. What is this? This is crazy, man. This is crazy. Dun 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 is so West, can have fun with it. I mean, I thought Dun 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 was fun. I think it deserves the nomination, but my criticism that I gave to Frieren is pretty much the same one that I gave to Dun Dun Dun. At some point, we need like an overarching story to grip onto, and I think Dun 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 is pretty much just randomness, just chaos, every episode. Entertaining chaos, sure. Pretty animated chaos, sure, but It's chaos. At some point we need something, you know, an overarching storyline, something that really grips me. But yeah, not having, bro, not having Rezero, not having Or, but having Kaiju number 8. My goodness. And once again, to reiterate, I don't hate Kaiju number 8. I just think it's mid. It is mid. It's acceptable. It's middle of the pack. It's a B tier anime. There's nothing wrong with being B tier, but I wouldn't put it in the top 6 of the continuing category. Either way, next. I feel like I do this every year, and I have almost a perverse enjoyment in being rage baited by Crunchyroll, because this is rage bait. This has to be rage bait. Either way. Best New Series, Clevates, Taco Piece Original Sin, Gachiakuta, Fragrant Flower, Sakamoto Days, Summer Hikaru Died. So, for full transparency, I watched everything here besides Fragrant Flower. I would not give the award to Gachiakuta. In fact, I thought Clevates was better, and in my opinion, like I've already mentioned, Taco P was my anime of the year, so obviously I would give it to Taco P. Gachiakuta was cool, it was fine, but, you know, best new series, okay, I guess, whatever. Dandadan was absolute fire, what the heck? I mean, I really like Dandadan, but I think it's just, the storytelling is a bit too chaotic for me. At some point, I need a bit more. I just need, all Dandadan needs is a storyline, which, without spoiling anything, I said at the beginning of the stream that it's very hard for a story to pull off an Amnesia storyline, like Rezero has done. I think Rezero has almost cleansed the palates of everybody else when it comes to Amnesia storylines. But I think the Amnesia storyline that Dandadan is doing right now in the manga is not being well received. Every time I hear something from manga readers of Dandadan, it's always crapping on the show, which is hilarious to me. But I just removed Sakamoto Days here. I mean, I enjoy Sakamoto Days, but I can see it. I can see it. I would probably take it out as well. Yeah, I would probably take it out and add. I'd have to go back and see what came out. Is Lord of the Mysteries even mentioned for this? It's probably a Japanese awards only show, right? So probably you can't nominate Lord of the Mysteries, but yeah, but I'm sure there were other shows that I can't recall off the top of my head right now. Hold on, let me check my anime list. Where do you see that? Is it, no, here, my anime list. Air End. Let me see, something that I would put over. Oh, right, Wistoria. Didn't Wistoria come out last year? It was better animated, at least. Cinderella Grey. Cinderella Grey came out last year. Windbreaker. No, this is season 2. This started in 2024, so I guess. Daima? No, also started in 2024. Okay, so, okay, that's fine, that's fine. Whatever, I would put something else. Probably if I could nominate Chinese anime, I would put, or donghua I should say, I would put Lord of the Mysteries. Okay, next one. Oh, dude, get the hell out of here, man. Oh my god, I'm getting rage baited. I am getting so rage baited by this, it's, bro. Okay, truth be told, I have to be truthful in one sense where I haven't watched anything that's here besides Lazarus, okay? Just for full transparency. So if I was voting for this category, I would skip it because I only watched one of the nominations. Having said that, Lazarus was not good. Lazarus was made by the same author as Cowboy Bebop, which is crazy because Lazarus seems like an anime that was made by a fan of Cowboy Bebop that didn't quite understand why Cowboy Bebop worked. So I also made an entire anime review of Lazarus if you want to check it out in my channel. Yeah, I would not put Lazarus as the winner, but once again, I didn't watch anything else, so I can't really speak freely, but yeah. Oh right, Gnosia. Gnosia is an original anime. Thank you, Krat. Yeah, it was an original anime that came out in 2025. I would put it 100 times over Sakamoto Days. Once again, Sakamoto Days was fun, but you know, it's a tough nomination. Especially season 1, the animation was kind of rough. So yeah. Omni Weapon. I didn't even finish Lazarus yet. I'll be honest, my guy, I don't think you're losing much. I think the best part of Lazarus is probably the cowboy sequence, the parkour sequences and the soundtrack. So I think the story is very sloppy. The story is very messy, very rushed for no reason at all. I think they try to have constantly the sort of adventure of the week. They have a lot of episodes that is a sort of self-contained adventure. I think Lazarus would have been better if it had 3 to 4 story arcs, all of which with 3 to 4 episodes each, right? I think it would have been much better that way. Gnosia is based on a visual novel. Yeah, but I was saying for best new series, because Sakamoto Days is also based on a manga, right? So for best original, yeah, you could not nominate Gnosia, sure. Best animation, Solo Leveling Season 2. The nominees are Dun Dun Dun, Gachiakuta, One Piece. Okay. Solo Leveling, Takopi, and my... Listen, guys, as somebody who has Takopi as their anime of the year, I wouldn't say that the animation for Takopi is all that. I certainly wouldn't put Gachiakuta here either. Some of these picks are very strange. Once again, I will assume that for best animation, they are not counting movies. That is my assumption, because if you were counting movies, it is ridiculous that Chainsaw Man and Demon Slayer are not here. So assuming movies don't count, some of these picks seem legitimate. I'm not even mad at Solo Leveling winning. I think it's honestly quite a fair winner. But I think, as somebody who greatly enjoys Takopi, I think it's a weird pick. Gachiakuta, the animation is also not that good. And One Piece has many flashes of brilliance, but most of the episodes aren't, just characters doing this. I can't believe Luffy just punched him. Oh. So yeah, I don't know about that one, Chief. But if you are counting the highs, the peaks, then sure, One Piece deserves to be here. But even then, Gachiakuta and Takopi seem like weird picks for this category. But sure, I agree with Soul Leveling, whatever. Take the prize, I don't care. Best character design. Okay, now this one is interesting. So in my opinion, best character designs, I would actually once again take Takopi out of here. And this is coming from somebody whose favorite anime of the year was Takopi, but I think these categories are just not it. And I think this is the problem with popularity votes, where Crunchyroll does this every single year, where the sort of hype anime of the year, they just sort of shove them in every single category, even if they don't thematically fit. I don't think the character designs for Takopi were all that good. The character designs are actually quite simple, quite bland, but that's part of the show. That's part of the appeal, right? To have these sort of kids from a remote village in Japan, and to have Takopi, who's just this very bland octopus, right? I don't understand why it's here. This is a very strange nomination. As far as the winner goes, I think it is undeniable that Gachiakuta has characters with a lot of style, a lot of personality, especially with the graffiti and whatnot. I think it is a worthwhile winner. I don't hate it. I think the characters for Apothecary Diaries are also all very attractive, very pretty, very well designed. Dun Dun Season 2, I think it has some banger character designs as well. One Piece, I think it's always a bit of cheating to add such a long-running anime for a category like this one. But once again, I think it makes sense, right? I think... Guys, am I still streaming? OBS Studio disconnected? Hello? Are we live? Hello? Am I live? Is it the stream out? Am I still streaming? What the hell happened? Hello? Can you guys hear me? The stream still seems to be live. Okay. You guys are hearing me. Nice. Okay. Strange. I have no idea what that was. That's never happened before. Okay, but we seem to be live. Okay. Nice, nice. But yeah, going back to this category, My Dress Up Darling, from what I saw, the main chick does cosplay or whatever, that's her thing. The character designs also seemed very nice. So yeah, I don't mind Gachiakuta winning. I think it's fair. I think it's fair. Crazy now. Rezero from last year's show. Fake weeb. Yeah, I mean, I know that animation doesn't necessarily mean fights, but for example, the presentation, even in the non-fights of Jujutsu Kaisen, was also very good. Or the presentation that you had, for example, in Nippon Sangoku was also very good. I think Takopi definitely had its moments of animation that were very good, but I don't know, it seems like a strange pick in the face of it. I don't know. Still here, Unk, or Little Bro if you're into that. No, I definitely prefer Unk. Yeah, Krat King, that's a very good call, actually. Gnosia had banger character designs. I'm actually quite sad they weren't nominated. I would have put maybe Gnosia over. I think, once again, I understand why One Piece is here, but it feels like cheating for One Piece to be here, right? You're just going to count Luffy, who has had a character design for over, 20 years. It's just an iconic design by now. It has statues in real life. Really? That's the competition, but I don't know. But yeah, Gnosia was also a banger pick for this one. But I think the winner is fair. The winner is very fair. I am not getting rage baited anymore. Let's see the next section. Best Director. Interesting. I'll be honest, I think directing is very hard for me to judge. I'm not that technical of a person when it comes to these types of shows. I think directing is very hard for me to judge. I don't think any of the choices here really surprise me. I think that the director for Apothecary Diaries does a great job at doing a lot with little. Like I said, there's a lot of sleight of hand to keep you visually interested and engaged, despite the animation not being the best. I think the director also has to be praised for making an anime that is mostly yapping so engaging. Obviously, the content is strong, right? The source material is strong, but I think the direction goes a long way as well. So I don't know if it would be my pick, but I always feel like such a fraud, such a LARPer to even mention direction because it's something that is just way out of my wheelhouse. So I'll just skip this category and offer not many more comments about this. Best background art, Gachiakuta, yeah, the graffiti. I mean, yeah, I don't even contest this one. When I read background art, my brain immediately jumped into Gachiakuta, so also a deserved one. Best romance. Interesting. Okay. Once again, I've only watched Dandada and Blue Box. I'm not really a romance kind of guy. You could, listen up, it's a bit of a stretch, but you could make an argument that you could put Rezero here. There's an argument that could be made, okay? A Poth Peak, yes, but not the winner here. I mean, yeah, once again, I don't know about the direction choices. I don't know. It's a very hard category for me to judge. I don't really... Like, there are some anime which the direction is so in your face, it's so obvious that it's hard not to notice it, like Jujutsu Kaisen, for example. Like, I have to commend the direction for Jujutsu Kaisen Season 3, because it's obvious the director is just giving banger after banger, right? But as far as, other anime, it's just harder for me, man. I don't really... It's not that I don't engage critically with anime, but I don't engage critically in that sense. I'm not that much of a nitpicker, right? So, yeah. So, yeah, there is a legitimate argument for Rezero to be here. Also, you could kind of put Gnosia in here, even though the love in Gnosia is perhaps a bit more, I don't know, not so much romantic. But yeah, from what I watch, I really only watched Dandada and Blue Box. I can't really opine on this one. I heard a lot of good things about Frieren Flower, so okay, sure, whatever. From the two that I did watch, Blue Box and Dandada, I will not comment on that one. Okay, up next, Best Comedy. I don't know. Once again, I only watched Dandada and Spy Family from these anime here. Wasn't the spin-off of Gintama also last year? But I guess it wasn't super funny, but not even being nominated feels wrong though. Hold on. Gintama. I can spell. Gintama. Oh, it's Ginpachi Sensei, I think is the name. Yeah. So this came out 2025, yeah. So it feels strange. I give it a 7. I don't think it's super great, even as a huge fan of Gintama, right? But to not even be nominated feels weird. Feels kind of weird. Yeah, sure, Dandada, whatever. I probably would have given it to Spy Family. I think from a pure comedy standpoint, I think Spy Family is funnier, but whatever, it's fine. Whatever. Yeah, platonic was the word I was stumbling on my way to looking for. Yes, thank you, Abo, thank you. Yeah, Spy X Family should have been best comedy. I agree. I totally agree with that. You have a lot of 10s on your My Anime list. Oh, you went to peak My Anime list. Oh, no, don't actually. Dude, one day I will give you guys... it can't be a video. It has to be a stream. It has to be a stream. One day, I don't know what, when we reach a powerful milestone on the channel, I'm going to roast my own anime list because teenager me and even younger me was wilding. I give some wild ratings that I should have never given. So let's just say that my ratings, it's a mess because nowadays I sometimes feel compelled to give 10s to certain anime because I know that I gave 10s to a lot of other anime, so they deserve it by comparison. But if I were to start my anime list over from scratch, the ratings would be very different and I would lower a lot of stuff. Unk, why 6 on ReZero? Wait, what? Wait, what? I did not give a 6 to ReZero. Hold on, you are rage baiting me. ReZero. Part 2? 10. What? I gave 10 to both. I'm being rage baited. I gave 10 to both, man. Come on, G. I can't believe I fell for it. Good rage bait. That was some good rage bait, man. That was some good rage bait. Yeah, I could also rate your guys' anime list. For sure, for sure. I think that's a fun stream to do one day. Okay, you got me, man, you got me. Where am I? Okay, best action, Dan Dan Dan, Gachiakuto, Kaiju number 8, My Hero Academia, One Piece, Solo Leveling. Once again, I don't want to keep repeating myself. I can't even speak anymore. I'm so nervous. I'm stressed out by this. I'm rage baited. What is Blood doing here? What is a polar bear doing in Texas? Like, best action. Once again, I'm going to assume we can't count movies, okay? So Demon Slayer, Chainsaw Man, they do not count, but still, Kaiju didn't, hold on, didn't Shangri-La come out last year? Season 2? Yeah, it did, second season? Yeah, 2025, it still counts. Why is Shangri-La not here? Shangri-La is amazing. Why is Fire Force not here? Yes, it's a Gunnar anime, whatever, it has plenty banger action. Why is Kaiju number 8 doing here, man? Just... as far as these choices go, I can barely speak anymore. I'm dehydrated from all the sweating and rage bait. As far as these choices go, Solo Leveling, sure man, it's a worthy winner. Either Solo Leveling or Dan Dan Dan, maybe My Hero. I think for what it's worth, My Hero did have some pretty good action sequences. I think Solo Leveling overall takes it though, because it just has more action sequences that are super good. Yeah, he's so forced in because I think the production IG, I think it's something very stupid, like production IG belongs to Sony and Crunchyroll belongs to Sony, so it feels like they tried to cram in Kaiju number 8 every single time for the awards, but it's just not that deep, man. It's some good mid, but it's mid. Why is it in the top 6? No, stop it. I should officially sign up for MAL. I mean, sure, I've had MAL for like over 10 years now. It's very useful to keep track of what I watched and to also roast my own taste, my own younger taste. Okay, best isekai, woohoo! ReZero. Once again, I'm just going to say this, okay? It's not that I don't think ReZero deserves the number 1, okay? I'm happy that ReZero won this award, but when you win an award, yes, the award by itself has merit, but it's also not so much that you win the award, it's who you beat for the award. So this is like the nicest guy in prison, man, you know? Like, yeah, sure, ReZero won, but who did we beat? Campfire Cooking? Who? Disney what? Who? Bureaucrat to Villainous? Who? Konosuba Season 3? Konosuba fell off years ago. Zenshu? Who? What? You know? I obviously would have voted for ReZero. I think ReZero deserves it, even if Arc 5 isn't everyone's favorite arc. But, you know, this competition is just pitiful. At least when we beat Mushoku Tensei, at least, you know... I know that Mushoku Tensei will probably never win a mainstream vote because of what the type of show that it is, right? But you know, at least it's tough competition, so to speak. This just feels like you took LeBron James and you put them in a pickup basketball game against the special needs kids, and he won. Congratulations. LeBron James won against the special needs kids. Wow, I'm so impressed, you know? It's like, whatever, man. But yeah, congratulations for Rezero. I just wish that we actually had, you know, good nominations that we could say were worthwhile opponents, but that is not the case. Best Drama, The Apothecary Diary Season 2, and Shirley, Blue Box, Orb, Takopi, Apothecary Diary. Okay, so this one, so the competition is stiff here. Once again, I never know year after year what the hell Crunchyroll means by drama, because in my mind, and honestly in the judge's mind, I think it means a different thing every single year. And I think drama is just whatever anime they sort of want to give attention to, but didn't fit any other category, so they just fit into the drama. Okay, I think Blue Box is out of contention, obviously. I think it's a race between Orb, Apothecary Diaries, and Takopi's Original Sin. I did watch Summer Hikaru Died. I did not watch Unsurely, although I would be stunned if it was my drama of the year. So, once again, it's very hard for me to know what Crunchyroll intends by drama. Takopi was my favorite anime of the year. I think Orb, even if it's just for Orb to win something, as it wasn't nominated for anything else, maybe I would have given it to Orb. I'm not unhappy about Apothecary Diaries winning, but yeah, I would have really liked if either Orb or Takopi won. But yeah, it is what it is. I don't think it's a super, you know, rage bait inducing winner. Unk, don't diss Konosuba, you're breaking my heart. I mean, Konosuba was one of my favorite anime, like at one point in time, but for some reason, I don't know if it's me, that if I grew up, or if Konosuba fell off. I started watching season 3, I just didn't find it funny, man. I kept looking at the screen, wondering if it was me, or if it was the anime. I don't have an answer for you, I just didn't find it funny. So, yeah, unfortunate. So I just dropped season 3. I just couldn't watch it, literally couldn't watch it. Best Slice of Life. Okay, this one's a... Oh, okay. Listen, I think Spy Family is the best comedy of the year, like many years now. Back to back to back champion. But Best Slice of Life. Once again, these awards are all over the place. I think Blue Box, in terms of the Slice of Life category, should win. I heard great things about Fragrant Flower. I didn't watch My Dress Up Darling, but from everything I saw, I also think it would be a more worthwhile winner for this category in particular. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't categorize Spy Family as a slice of life necessarily. I don't know, I can see why people would say that it is slice of life, because you have the family life and whatnot, and Anya going to school, but I don't know. I don't know about this one, Chief. I don't know. Everything is a drama. Kono is like junk food thanks to this lame easy mode MC. Konosuba is best watched with friends. I mean, for sure. If I was watching Konosuba in a watch party with friends, I can see how it would be more enjoyable. But watching by myself, I just couldn't do it. Yeah, Krat King, I think that's my takeaway as well. I think Konosuba starts off very funny, but the more you get into the jokes, the more played out they become, so the less funny it becomes. Okay. Let's just move on then. Best main character, Mao Mao. I spoiled this one. No Subaru. 2 Dandadan mentions. Sung Jin-woo nomination. A guy whose entire personality is looking cool at the camera and being overpowered. Izuku Midoriya, by many considered to be one of the worst protagonist MCs of Shonen Jump. And no Subaru. That is crazy. That is insane. That is insane. Once again, this is rage bait. Top tier rage bait by Crunchyroll. You know what? We have to count our blessings. We have to think positively. The only thing I'm happy about is that the main character from Kaiju number 8 is not here. Because on the previous year, he was, and it was so forced, man. So, yes, at least Kafka isn't here, but why do they always nominate Momo and Okarun? I think they should only nominate one of them. Suwaru should be here. And honestly, I think Yuri from Gnosia should also be here. And if you want to be super hateful, okay, just me being a little bit of a nitpicky hater, I would even take out Izuku Midoriya and just put the main character from, what's it called? The Hitman anime, goddammit, I blanked. What's it called? Goddammit, the fat dude from the Hitman anime. What's it called? Hitman anime. What's it called? Sakamoto Days. I would put Sakamoto over. Okay, that's just me being a hater. I wouldn't actually put Sakamoto over Izuku in the final season, but you know, just whatever. Yeah, man, these nominations are trash. I think the winner is deserved. I think Mao Mao is a great main character. And the thing is, this is also something you have to take into consideration. Like, this also comes into play when you watch sports or whatever, when they're deciding the MVP of a game, and you have the conversation of, is the MVP of the game the best player on the winning team? Or is the MVP of the game the player that carried his respective team the most, right? So for this best main character category, I think Mao Mao carries her show. Apothecary Diaries is very main character centric. And this is kind of funny because in season 2 we did have a few episodes without Mao Mao, but still she literally carries that show on her back. And it's the same thing to a certain extent with Solo Leveling. Sung Jin-woo is like the central pillar of the show and one of the few things worthwhile about it. But I think Mao Mao does such an exceptional job. She's so fun to watch, so entertaining, so smart, so compelling, and just carries her show. So to me, even if I think Subaru should be here, when you're comparing season 2 of Mao Mao to like arc 5 of Rezero, I wouldn't even be mad if Mao Mao won. But Subaru should be in here, 100%. Imagine if there's no Subaru for next year as well. Man. I'm already getting rage baited in anticipation, man. I'm already getting rage baited in anxiety. Okay. Best supporting character, Bakugo. Okay, I guess. And Jin is the purple hair guy, I think, pink hair guy, I mean. Jin, she's the romantic interest. Lowline's the main villain for this section, okay, Turbo Granny. Why do we always have 2 nominations for Dandadan? Once again, it's not that I hate Dandadan, but it's not that good. It's really not that deep, man. We don't need 2 nominations for Dandadan for every single category, man. It feels like the judges or panel or whoever is making these categories, it feels like they watch very few anime, so there's a lot of overlap. In supporting characters, we don't have anybody from Orb, we don't have anybody from ReZero, we don't have anybody from Gnosia. That is crazy. Once again, some of these awards aren't bad, but some are just trashy, man, and this one is just... Yeah, Bakugo had a very cool animated scene. This scene banged. This scene was very good. Does it make him supporting character of the year? Because he had a cool scene and a cool moment? I don't think so, man. Once again, it's just my opinion. I know he's the most popular character, but I don't know. No, Emilia. I mean, Emilia should probably count as a main character, right? But if you count Emilia as a supporting character, then yeah, that's crazy. And yeah, Omni Weapon, you're totally right. Even as a supporting character, even from My Hero Academia, I think All Might would have been a better pick, but either way. Orb got robbed. Yeah, Orb got robbed. They got stolen. Highway robbery, my goodness. Must protect at all costs. I think this category is a joke, by the way. I think they just made this category to give it to Anya every single year. And it is the category of Anya every single year. I mean, you could maybe make an argument that this year it should be Shizuka from Takopi, but you know, Anya is just so fluffy, she's so cute. Whatever. I think this category is just a joke. You shouldn't have this category. It's just, you know, it feels like a category that was specifically made for a single anime. So yeah, I don't rate this category, don't care about it at all. Even though if I had to vote, I would put Anya Forger. Wait, hold on. Why is Izuku here? Huh? Why is Izuku Midoriya the character, the badass hero that sacrificed himself for the people of the world? Why is he in the must protect at all costs category? Huh? Once again, it confuses me because I don't really understand these categories, and to be quite honest, I don't think the panel understands either. Like, why is he here? What is there about Izuku to protect? He's the one who does the protecting. I don't know, man. I don't know. Best anime song. Oh boy, here comes a rage bait. This will sound extremely hypocritical because I do realize that I put Chainsaw Man as my favorite movie of the year. Having said that, I don't like Iris out that much. I said it. I'm sorry, but I said it. Once again, what counts as anime song? Are these the openings? Because I think there are a bunch of openings that I would put in here. For example, why is the opening for Gnosia not here? Why is the opening for Orb once again not here? Those are banger songs. Out of these, if I had to vote, if I absolutely had to vote, either Reawaker with Felix and Lisa, or On the Way I also greatly enjoyed. This opening from Apothecary Diaries wasn't as good, and I'm just, like, I like the songs in context of Chainsaw Man, but as songs individually, I don't like them as much. I don't really listen to them outside of watching Chainsaw Man, so yeah. Let's protect the strongest hero at all costs. The main character with 7 abilities. That's true, man, that's true. Okay, yeah. The ending for Rezero. Yeah, I totally agree, man, but I think they don't count endings for this section. But I will be totally rage baited as well if we have no Nox Lux. Let's see. Best score. Demons. Once again, this is something that I feel sometimes like I'm watching different things than the people who are voting. Because Demon Slayer has incredible animation, but if anything, even watching this in the cinemas, I felt like the soundtrack was always one step behind. I felt like the soundtrack almost couldn't pull its weight to the quality of the animation that we're watching on screen. So it baffles my mind because I think Demon Slayer also won last year, if I'm not mistaken, or it won one of the years before. I don't think it's that good. The soundtrack, I would put Solo Leveling a million times over. Even something like the Apothecary Diaries, I think it's by Kevin Penkin, also a million times over. Chainsaw Man soundtrack was also so good. I don't know why they keep gassing up the Demon Slayer soundtrack. It's not that good. It's really not that good. The animation is excellent. The soundtrack is not that good. I'm sorry. So if I had to vote, probably either good old Sawano for Solo Leveling, whoever made the soundtrack for Chainsaw Man, or Kevin Penkin for Apothecary Diaries. Up next, best opening sequence. Okay, best openings. Hugs. I didn't like the opening for Gachiakuto that much, to be honest. On the Way, I think this opening deserves a nomination. Reawaker, also a banger. The Reeve, also very good. Once again, why is Gnosia's opening not here? What other openings were there? Hold on. Let me refresh. Why is Uma Musume's opening not here? That was a banger, no? Did anyone watch this? This opening was a banger. Windbreaker was also good. Once again, why is the opening for Orb not here? It was super good, man. The opening for the Clevates one was also good. But the adaptation in the animation wasn't all that. It was more so the song. Once again, I don't know if we are counting Chinese donghua or not, but if we are, To Be Hero X should be here 100,000%. Perhaps it should even win opening of the year, to be quite honest with you. No, it doesn't count 2026. But yeah, but Gnosia should count for sure. The Gnosia opening was a banger, absolute banger. Out of these nominations, I think the Dun 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 opening is fine. I would vote for either Dun 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 or Reawaker, so I'm fine with this one either way. But yeah, Orb should be here. Orb should win, but whatever, man. Best score. Yeah, I was also that confused, man. Tensure speak. I'm just glad Kaiju number 8 isn't here. Yeah, man. Yeah, Omni Weapon. I'm happy as well. We just take whatever victories we can at this point. Okay, so next one. Best ending, probably. Why? I sound like a parrot. Why is ReZero not here? What is Kaiju number 8? No, actually, the ending for Kaiju number 8 is pretty good. But ReZero ending from season 3, Nox Lux, is, dare I say, by far the ending of the year. It is so good. I like the ending more than I like the opening, by a lot, quite a large margin. So the fact that Nox Lux isn't here is crazy to me. Once again, I don't even remember this ending, if I'm being totally honest. I would have probably voted for the ending of Soul Leveling, maybe? I remember that one was good, by TK, the same singer of the famous Tokyo Ghoul opening. I think that one was fine. But yeah, Nox Lux should win this by a lot. Why is Nox Lux not even nominated? Oh well. Oh well. Best voice actress or artist performance? No, so it's both actors and actresses. Listen, man, I would obviously put the voice actor for Subaru in here, but I think Aoyuki is deserved, especially if you count multiple performances. If you count Aoyuki for the year of 2025 as doing both Mao Mao and Capella, I think it is undeniable that Aoyuki takes it. I'm not even mad. I would have voted for Aoyuki as well. So, if ReZero Ope isn't nominated this year, I'm going to squeal. Squeal, I'm going to riot. I will jump the headquarters of Crunchyroll. For legal reasons, this is a joke, people, okay? I will do no such thing. I will just type mean things on Twitter in caps lock. ReZero must be a fragment of our imagination. Okay, yeah, I think this one is fair. As much as I like ReZero, I think Aoyuki is fair, especially once again, if you don't count an individual performance, but you count the body of work for the year, in which case you are evaluating both Mao Mao and Capella, and probably something else for the year 2025 that I didn't watch or don't remember. So yeah, Aoyuki, fine winner. Okay, and now are the voice actors in various different languages, which I didn't watch, so no point in covering those. So Arabic, Brazilian Portuguese, Spanish, English, French, Hindi, Italian. Yeah, so I didn't watch any of these, so it doesn't matter. I won't go through these. Okay, so yeah, this is it. Once again, thank you Crunchyroll for the rage bait. I appreciate it. Thank you for ruining my day. I will think about this all day. Just kidding. Yeah, so these were the lists. Once again, to remind you, this is for winter 2026. This is my final list. This is my final list for spring of 2026. I hope to see all of you guys back for summer of 2026. I hope to do one of these streams. They are always very fun. Once again, even though speaking this long gives me massive dyslexia, but it is what it is. We move. I will try to do always one of these streams at the end of each anime season. Once again, it is also my intention to do an afternoon stream every time a ReZero volume is over, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do this, because once again, it's tough to fit this into my schedule. This was a special opportunity that I took and scheduled the stream right away. Also, for those of you who like more ASMR type live streams where I'm whispering into the microphone and talking very lowly. For those of you who want more of that, I'm currently streaming a Pokemon Hardcore Nuzlocke playthrough of Pokemon Emerald during the nights. I always try to schedule my streams in advance. That has been very fun. And we are currently on Gym 6, so if you want to watch those, just watch out for the scheduling on YouTube. So thanks a lot, guys, for coming, for showing up. I appreciate you maniacs coming with me. Also, I appreciate many of your sussy comments. You guys are wild during the afternoon. I don't know what's wrong with you, especially because some of the people that are in this live stream are the same ones from the night streams. So I don't know if it's just you're more energetic, if it's the coffee, I don't know what it is, but you guys are funny, man. You guys are funny. Keep it up. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. I hope to today sleep a bit more and recover my sleep schedule. That would be very nice. I would appreciate it. So yeah, Vampire OverlordDio. Yes, indeed. I must see the sun, touch some grass, and try to sleep a little bit to be less vampiric. So thank you all a lot for watching. Truly, it means a lot for such a small channel to have such a lovely bunch of people watching. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next stream and the next video. I will hopefully one day maybe start to edit that Prophecy of the Throne video, which will take way too long to edit. I can't make any promises, just wishes. It's a wish. I wish to one day start. Anyway, bye bye guys. See you in the next video or live stream.